it will all make sense. Obi, let's go.
Sir.
Say some finishing words here.
I mean, good luck with the midday. Enjoy your lesson with Satya and Sharif, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. Take it easy.
All right, let's get it, girl.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl, Satya.
Hello, guys.
What's going on? All right, and I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. We already have a couple of early birds. Shout out to my man Nimit, already doing his charting, already looking at those small cap gappers. Nimit, I promise you, my side charts are filled with small cap gappers. All right, here come the people. Proper Paradox. Well, hello to you too, sir. Glitch Ops and Brandon Townsend. Shout out to the OG Gorev, Black Sheep Trades. Just Some Dude is also in the chat. Vicken, Novak, Pitchbull. We got Juan Padilla, Mateus Lane, The Skips 8, Ichiban Trader. And we got Terrence, Ty, WT, Starburst, yes, Fiddlepack, JP, not JP Morgan. We got Adrian Petraeus, Mary S. Lyman, peace to you as well. Glenn Smith, we got Blasky, we got Others Inc., we got Zayan, Lala, and Fugazi Bear, Trader Forever, and Gatekeeper. He's holding on to the gates. You can't get in without going through him. Havana Woody, we got Pro Trader, Patrick G, my man Fat Figure, Eric Chen, College Physics for Everyone. I love that name. Ron Heller, Pilot Josh, Freddie Fulcrum. Wow, I like that name. What else we got over here? Scott Edwards, Adrian Lewis, Cass M, and Tony 101.
Okay, everyone's in the chat.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Can't complain. Can't complain. A little under the weather. You and I are kind of dealing with something. Everybody are really on the floor is kind of dealing with it.
Getting chilly out
Sean
here.
never seems to get sick. Don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, do you even trade, bro? Yes, I do, Fabian, and I voted. Did you vote?
No, I didn't. I moved it away. I do, though. Lock in a yes.
All right. Anything you want to chat about before we weasel into the lesson du jour?
I'll do it after.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right down to business, baby. We are talking about gaps. We're going to introduce the topic super quick over here for those who are watching. We're likely going to start having a lot of gaps because of earnings season, right? Well, it's already started with the banks. This is typically a great time to talk about gaps because we get a lot of them now. So let's get right to it. Welcome, traders. Today's lesson dives into the worlds of gaps in technical analysis. Let's start, as we always do, with basics for everyone who doesn't really know this kind of stuff. So what are gaps? Well, imagine a price chart. See a lot of those every day, right? Normally, Fabian, normally price bars move up and down. Normally they're zigging and zagging, recording trading activity throughout a period. But sometimes there's a jump, a blank space like my monitor just did right now. Blank space where there's no trading that happened. That's a gap, and I'll show you what I mean in a hot second here. It signifies to you a price difference between the closing print of yesterday and the opening print of this morning. Those are the two prints. If you include after hours trading in the aftermarket and the pre-market, the gaps will be skewed. Doesn't mean the gaps won't show up, but they will be skewed. Remember, we look at closing prints. I want to see what committed money did yesterday, not that intraday money, committed money that stays after the bell, and then that money that opened up at the bell. That is the gap. Closing print from yesterday, opening print from today. And here we go. Super simple. We're chugging along, singing our song, walking in a winter wonderland, and boom, all of a sudden a news catalyst comes in, and there is a price vacuum, an area where no trading took place. Works both ways, so the top side and the downside, you can be bullish and bearish on this one. So why do gaps happen? Well, think of gaps as sudden shifts in the supply and demand equilibrium, right? News events like earnings reports, major economic releases that happen outside regular market hours can trigger buying and selling frenzy when the market reopens, causing the price to gap up or down. My monitor, oh no, compared to the previous close or the previous day's close. My monitor just keeps going in and out. There are different types of gaps, so they're not just, one homogeneous whole, many different types. We're gonna introduce some of the types today, and then we'll spend a day talking about each of the separate ones and how to trade them, etc. So the first one we wanna talk about, breakaway gaps. Love these. I'm a mostly bullish trader, mostly long trader, so when we have breakaway gaps to the upside, I'll feel hot and fuzzy inside, all right? These occur when the price jumps above the resistance, again, or below, works both ways, support, potentially signaling to you a trend breakout. And here we go. So we're making lower lows, lower highs, or you even want to call this a consolidation period. We don't have the data before that. Then boom, all of a sudden something happens overnight and the price is markedly higher than it had closed the day prior. And then I also want to bring your attention, we're not going to get into too much right now, but I also want to bring your attention to the increased volume that took place on the breakaway gap. You need to be looking at both of this, price action and volume, because volume, especially above average volume like we have here, is one of the things we look for when we look for the gap being closed super quick, like a common gap. We'll talk about that in a second. So here's another breakaway gap to the downside. My monitor keeps going out. I don't know what's going on here. This is a breakaway gap to the downside, higher lows, higher highs. Something bad happens overnight. We decidedly break that trend line. And look what we do. We close near the lows. I know that's not gap specific, but it's also important for foreshadowing whether or not that gap is going to get filled super quick, right? If we close near the lows or we close near the highs, that's awfully bullish or bearish. And it's one thing to look at when trying to predict, is this a common gap or is this a legit breakaway gap? Okay? Exhaustion gaps are also super important because they signal the end of the trend. Appearing at the end of a strong trend, they might indicate the loss of momentum and a possible trend reversal. These are exhaustion gaps. And here, I'm going to show you an interesting one on Apple, but basically you have an exhaustion gap over here, it gets filled, we consolidate, and then you really get it over here, kind of a double top there. And it's nice when the exhaustion gap kind of coincides with a bearish reversal pattern or a reversal pattern in general, whether we're looking long or short. We know double tops from our previous discussion on chart patterns are reversal patterns. They end existing trends. And what better thing to have with that reversal pattern than an exhaustion gap? It kind of adds credence to our analysis. Another check mark beside our list there. And this is kind of the opposite. It's an exhaustion, but for bulls, right? We're waffling along. We break down above this area over here, and then we get higher volume on the way up. Common gaps, so these are the bamboozlers in chief of gaps because they get you in thinking you see one thing and then, the door gets shut on you in a few days later. So common gaps, these are the more frequent and often fill up quickly. So they get closed, and I'll show you what I mean in a sec. They have minimal impact on the overall trend. So again, something maybe, for example, happened to a company in sympathy with this one. So this one ended up gapping up in sympathy with another company, but the headline wasn't specific for it. It was for the other company, and so then we end up filling the gap. And basically what we're talking about here is the distance, again, between the closing print of the day prior and the opening print of the subsequent day. Look how this candle over here fills the gap super quick. Again, common gaps, you see them over here. A gap gets filled, you guys get it. They get filled pretty quickly. There's no hard and fast rule about how quickly these gaps have to get filled, but it's typically within, let's say 7 to 10 trading days. There's, again, no specific timeline that you need to be looking for there, but they typically do get filled. You can kind of foreshadow them a little bit about how the price action develops subsequent to the gap. And the last one we're going to talk about today is the island gaps. These are surrounded by trading activity, on both sides. They don't necessarily predict a strong directional move, though. And here it is. You get these island gaps that kind of are 2 or 3 candle formations that are separated away from the other price action bars. You get them you get them twice over here. And I think there was an island gap on Apple at that 237 if I remove the pre-market and aftermarket action. Let me have a look over here super quick. Yeah, I believe if I do remove this, we'll be able to see an island gap here. Allow me a second just to do this in real time. Yes, we do. Look at this. These buggers over here, because I was all pumped. I'm like, yeah, bro, 237, I'm getting my money, right? And there we go. Closing print of the day prior, opening print, that's a gap, however you look at it. Closing print, opening print. This is an island gap here. Again, you need to remove pre-market and aftermarket data to see the full picture of gaps. Otherwise, you're going to have distortions, okay? So I want to mention that. So what I see here is a bit of an island gap on AAPL back July 15th when we made, up until yesterday, it was all-time highs, okay? So island gaps there. You go at another example of an island gap, more than 2 or 3 candles in this case, about 10 or 8 or whatever, and then it ends up getting filled super quick. So are gaps reliable indicators? Not always. That's basically the answer there. Gaps can be misleading, and here's why. False breakouts. They're real, they're fast, they're furious. Breakaway gaps can sometimes lead the price to quickly reverse, creating what we know as a false breakout. But there's also a lot of market noise, right? A lot of 0 days to expiry options, a lot of intraday money coming in. So gaps can be influenced by these temporary news events or temporary movements in the market. They don't necessarily always reflect that long-term trend. So how can we trade these gaps effectively if they're so bamboozling? Well, confirmation is key, as it always is in technical analysis. Don't base your decisions solely on gaps. Look for confirmation from other technical indicators like volume or moving average. What's the RSI showing you? Did you get that crossover on MACD? Is there price action, momentum oscillator, divergence? So many different questions you need to ask yourself in that confirmation analysis. Volume always matters no matter what here. High trading volume alongside the gap strengthens the signal significance. I made that point on the first one where I showed you the breakaway gap. Look for above average volume, especially on those breakaway gaps, okay? And you're gonna ask me what above average is. You can do one of a number of things. Compare that volume to the yearly average, the 5-year, or even just look at the volume bars in the bottom of the chart. Does that one where the breakaway gap took place stand above its predecessors? Is it an outlier? If the answer is yes, it's above average. And gap filling. So the price might return to fill the gap in the future, offering a potential entry or exit point there, guys. And I just want to leave you with one last thought. Gaps are just one piece of the puzzle. Use them alongside other technical analysis tools and proper risk management for better informed trading decisions. I tell you.
Awesome. Great to hear. Great lesson. Thank you for that, Sharif. So I see a lot of people talking about the semiconductors, NVIDIA in the chat, and that is exactly what I wanted to cover today. So today I had my eye on the semiconductors due to ASML reporting that their sales outlook for 2025 may slow down due to restrictions for the exports in China. So ASML reported that 49% of their sales came from China according to their June earnings. However, due to the restrictions that they're expecting about 20% of sales coming from China in 2025. So definitely a big cut there, around 29%. So pretty crazy. Jeez. So I had my eye on this, and this was pretty bearish for me. Because, China's one of the biggest consumers of semiconductors. We all know this, right? And then in addition to this, another reason why I was looking at the semiconductors in particular is because the Biden administration discussed limiting sales of AI chips from NVIDIA to certain countries. That's what they said. But we know they're talking about China, right? And so they said that it's in the interest of their national security as part of its campaign to contain China's technological advancements, to kind of impede on that. And so the U.S. is putting high pressure on Europe to limit exportation to China. So pretty crazy there. So I had lots of looks on the semiconductors. I was looking at TSM and NVIDIA just because with ASLM, they are a manufacturer that produces, I think it's like a photolithography. And so they produce these machines for NVIDIA and TSM. And so I thought this may have a big impact on these tickers. And so I was looking at NVIDIA, TSM, AMD. I found NVIDIA and TSM moved kind of not in unison exactly, but it has similarities. And so if we go to the chart here, I just wanted to show you guys some similarities here. So I was looking at NVIDIA, and we can see, I have like some smaller charts here, but we see a gap down off the open, and then a bounce, around 10 a.m. Same with TSM, a flush off of the open, bounce at 10 a.m. Same thing with AMD, kind of a flush off the open and then a little bit of a bounce at 10 a.m. And so they're not necessarily moving the same percentage, but if you look at the structure, they kind of look the same. You have that flush, that bounce, have that flush, that bounce again, have that flush, that bounce. And so I thought, because they're kind of related, they may have similar outlooks. And so that's what I was looking at. Semiconductors, looking hot, looking volatile. And that's what I'm looking at today.
I like it. Well, yeah, I mean, semis are just a lot. They're heavily in vogue right now. Adara was also letting me know that they were talking about Saudi and the UAE as well, because we know that the Biden administration specifically is very worried about some of these advanced AI chips, finding their way. I don't know if they said it specifically, but they're worried about terrorists getting their hands on it or other countries that they may not be friends with. I'm assuming Iran, maybe something like that. No specifics were mentioned about getting their hands on.
So that's because I read an article and it says other countries, and so I thought it was specifically China, but that makes sense now.
Oh yeah,
Fair
China
enough.
They'll just say by name.
Yeah,
It's like China, right? So that's the look there. It's interesting because that G42 company, which is that UAE advanced AI companies, trying to make guarantees to the Biden administration that they're not going to funnel those chips. We'll have to see what the Biden administration says, and if whether or not Kamala wins or Donald Trump wins. I think that probably changes the narrative as well. All right, guys, I'm in Oklo right now. It had a nice 20-period retracement. We wet our beak on some profits already. We're long at 98s. I got out at 20s. I'm waiting now at 39s. I don't know why. It's like this this mid-chop area for this consolidation area that we put in before breaking for the first time on the day the 10 exponential moving average. And it bounced exactly off the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. I'm looking for something along the lines of a $0.50 retracement. We've been zigging and zagging south of 20. And as I look at it now, 20 pennies, $15.20 on OKLO, which trades on the NYSE, was acting as a level of support for a hot minute. So it stands to reason that support flips to resistance now that we're below it. So I think we're going to need some big boy buying to break through it. Here we go. 25's printing over here, nicely in the money now. On 30's printing. Let's see if we can print 39s. That's where I'm waiting. We need to weasel up a little bit more. OKLO up 30.9%, $15.89 HOD. Adara's at the green screen. What do we got?
We're going to take a look at here are the largest movers in the S&P 500 to both the upside and the downside. Today, though, we know I like to have a bit of a theme for this segment. So today's theme is day two moves. In this case, all rebounds from pretty sharp weakness yesterday. So to start off here, we're going to talk about Micron, MU. This stock pushing into day's high as we speak. Part of an overall chip rebound after that ASML drop that Satya just mentioned there. But also Micron actually did announce on Tuesday it has its new DDR5 memory portfolio. So MU with a bounce up more than 4%. Also looking great here is UNH. I apologize, that is not the chart, but UNH here up about 3.5% here, nearing that 575 level, which is day's high as of right now. Quite a few price target decreases after its earnings report from analysts like BofA Securities and Morgan Stanley. They did lower some of the top end of some of their guidance there, but UNH pushing higher here after selling off yesterday. And last but not least, pretty similar look here for Citigroup. This one trying to bounce off of VWAP here, up more than 2%. Again, much like UNH, getting some price target decreases from Morgan Stanley and BofA, amongst other analysts, but getting a nice move up after its earnings report, which is one of the weakest received of the bank earnings so far this season. If you guys like these or any other tickers and you want to know what Obi and Sean have to say about them, go in the chat and let us know. ! Join, space, $, and the ticker of your choice.
The absolute most in a good way. There is the prompt right there, but make sure you enter it accurately. Otherwise, Streamlabs gets very upset, Fabian, and it won't register the vote. So, if you want the big kahunas looking at what you got, the ticker of your choice, make sure to enter it correctly. Satya, what are you looking at?
For sure. So I'm looking at TSM right now. I have an order in for 188.50. Hopefully I get triggered there. Looking for the short there. I'm going to have my, let me just pull this chart here. Oh. So I'm looking short around here, 188.50. I'm looking to put my stop loss at 190 just because I was looking at this in the morning and it was really struggling with that level. I was just looking at it on the tape. It would get to that level. It would kind of chop around and then just slam down. And so that's what I'm looking at. It didn't get filled. It's going without me. Of course it is. That's what happened today too. I got in around 188.43 and I put a cross of 15 cents to the 30s and just skipped over me again, didn't get the fill. And so that's just the story of my life with TSM today, unfortunately. But I am really confident in this level at 188.50 for the short. And so that's what I'm going to stick to. That's what I'm going to, stick to because like I said, semiconductors are hot right now. And so it's part of my playbook. It's looking good. And so that is what I'm looking at as of right now. What are you guys looking at, though? I'm very intrigued. What is...
The Katina man is short Tesla at VWAP, guys, at around 220.75, 220.80s, give or take in that area. Already $1 in the money, Katina man. It's breaking 220 right now. So good look there. Just want to update you on the Katina man's trade, short Tesla VWAP. Sorry to interrupt you, Satya.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just putting in, I guess I deleted it, but I'm putting in my order here still for this TSM. So I'm going to put that in. Hopefully we get triggered, waiting for that. And so that is just what I'm looking at. And so something else that I was looking at is UNH. This one was getting into a level that I'm really interested in as of right now. I'm waiting for this 569.67. Why I like it, and Adara also mentioned it too, it was yesterday's high. And so I really like the day 2 earnings plays. I find that the break of the higher low is definitely an indication of where we should go. And so I'm just waiting for this pullback because I definitely think that it can go there. And why do I like it? You guys know me. I love my VWAP. I wanted to hold that VWAP. And it held that VWAP all day. Like, look at that. Broke through the pre-market high, 562.22, blasting up, holding that VWAP all the way through. And I still want to see that hold the VWAP looking good there. And so that's what I'm looking at. UNH looking great as well.
Shout out to Racer X9. He's in EVGO. EVGO having a good day ever since the Biden administration blessed them with a billy. A nice billy there to build out, obviously, the electric vehicle infrastructure. Shout out also to Solongo. She was talking about SMCI, super microcomputer. Good look today, 3.5%. Let's do some charting because I like this one possibly at $49 on a bit of a retracement. If it is to weasel its way down there, let's have a look at the 5-minute on SMCI. A couple of levels that I'm looking at here. Let's include pre-market action because we need to include that. We're not doing gap analysis right now. There it is. All right, so now we got the pre-pre in the purview over here. Okay, so this level, 49.05, that was the implied balance high that we printed at 9:30, zigged and zagged, went red to green. Now we're well green, fighting. We fought with 50. It looks like topping tail through $50. We're finding some support here at 49.5, 49 1/3. That isn't the level that I was looking at. I'm looking at $49. 2 reasons. Not just the fact that it's the IB high, but it's also the 10 exponential. Now, these ones have a way of bamboozling you a bit. And by that, I mean either, the money fill will be a skosh below 49 or a skosh above. Seldomly do the algos give you right at that level. That money fill right at 49 pops back up. Not saying it doesn't happen, but chances are, the money fill a little bit below or a little bit above that level. We'll wait and see. 49.40 keeps on printing. This candle has held the previous candle low, 34, and this candle, 32 on this candle. I'm talking about the 5-minute candles right now on SMCI. Sorry, I did not put up the ticker. There we go. You'll be able to see that watermark. So it looks like it might hold this area. Otherwise, I'm not chasing it. It's going to have to come into my level at around 49-ish. So much so, do I like that level? We're going to put in a little bit of an alert at 10s or so to kind of be made aware if it does come back. But that was a nice retracement off 50, and it looks like it might, $50. It looks like it might hold 50 pennies. There it goes. 55s over here bouncing, trying to curl right now. SMCI up 3 1/4. So I don't even have that on my side list because it's littered with other small cap gappers. Speaking of small cap gappers, let me tell you exactly what I did on Oklo over here. In at 98s, out at 20, out at 40. Got out top wick for now. I don't like how this is setting up. It didn't hold the 20. It wicked into the 20, bounced back up, but look what we put. We put in lower lows and lower highs on the small cap gapper. We are trending down. Let's see if it finds its footing at or above VWAP. Right now on my chart on OKLO, I'm looking at VWAP at $14.20, give or take that area. Strong name, like many of these other small cap gappers, but it's gonna have to set up in the right way. Here's what I'm looking at today, and this is probably gonna change quite a bit because already Nimit telling me that SAIH, another entrant into small cap gapper world, is halted at $1.30. It's up 132%. It hasn't found its way onto here. So we're going to have to remove some of these because they're not setting up, like PRQR, breaking down below VWAP, but seems to have support at 3. That ain't the move. I'm looking for something to be trending, not consolidating. There's just too much to select from today. We don't need to select these B setups. VS also breaking down, seems to have support at 5, but this lower high, lower low symphony ain't cutting it for me. WVE looks good. Okay, it's well above VWAP, and I'd like something possibly at 13.25. About $1 south of where we are now to test VWAP. And I also like how this one respected the volume weighted average price. Look at that dip when we got into 14 2/3, right down, double bottom to 13.25. That's not just some random area. That is the volume weighted average price. WVE in my purview. Burrow or whatever the hell this is. Look at this, man. Like up to $1.60. Now we're trying to fight with $1 again. I don't want none of that, man. That ain't what I'm looking for. OKLO we already talked about. SMR, this one the Katina man is involved in the swing account. I happen to love this look right now. Look at this. It hasn't even glanced back at the volume weighted average price, right? I mean, this is just going. You're lucky if you get something off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, because it's only touched it once, I think, since 9:55. So if you're waiting for that deep pullback, you're not getting it quite yet. In case you're wondering what's going on over here with these nuclear plays, everybody and their mother's cousin, no, of course, I'm just joking. The hyperscalers, they're all teaming up with these nuclear energy companies, trying to build out energy facilities for their AI data centers. It's such a energy intensive endeavor, right? So they're trying to secure that for themselves, and that has them going the SMR route. If you don't know what SMRs are, small modular reactors, it behooves you just get acquainted with the technology. It looks like it's going to be big, I guess, until they develop fusion. You ever hear about fusion?
No.
That's like how the sun creates power.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I know
did
they're
not
trying
know
to do that. It's always taken more energy to get fusion, and they were just paused. They were actually just in a surplus for the first time ever, I think like 2 years ago.
Okay.
It's like the holy grail of energy, but everybody's saying it's like the end of this century. They'll have it ready. So we'll have to deal with nuclear for now.
Hopefully it comes in soon.
Hey, you know about that, Fabian? Oh, that was Andre. I like that.
Yes,
okay.
for sure.
You hit that for Tesla. I see. The Katina man is well in the money on Tesla there. We were letting him know that we were broke down below 220. Here's a look on Tesla. Katina man, but there was a bunch of support here in the earlier day. I don't know if you saw that, 219.50. Yeah, the Katina man was long early off these levels. And here we are, 219.50. We've zigged and zagged with this level, Satea, literally all day. Look at the amount of wicks that run through that 219.50, 219.25.
I definitely think that's interesting. And see, like last week, I was really saying, like, if we don't break that 250, I definitely think that we are going to break down and we're going to, go look for that 215, that $200 mark. And I definitely think that that is, underway. I don't think necessarily today, but I definitely think that those are the two pivotal levels, 250 and then that 220. And so we're here right now, we're breaking through that. And so I think the next psychological level is that $200 mark. And so, for my swing traders, for my long-term investors, I feel like, you're either looking for that dip buy at 200 or for, the day traders, you're looking for that short to 200. And so that's what I'm looking at for Tesla. And I don't know, I feel like they didn't like the robo-taxi. I thought that things would be good there, but I guess they don't like it, and it's coming down. And what I really like about this trade, I know Katina Man, he got in early, but I really like this 219, this day's low coming up here. And so definitely think that if we could blast through that, I could see a continuation for the short. Wish I kind of got it up here around 220.75. That would be ideal for my VWAP ceiling trade. But you know what? Once I miss that, usually I'll wait for the day's low and get in around there. So really look on that Tesla trade. I'm still waiting on UNH to trigger. Going back to that UNH, okay, so it's coming down, you know, it's making its way. I have my order here. I have an alert here at 570.14, and so it's not exactly at the price that I want to get into, but I want to make sure that I have the trigger alerting me just so I can see how it reacts at that level. And if I like it and I like what I see on the book and on the tape, and so I'll keep that order in there. And so that's what I'm looking at. Still waiting for that 560. 964-ish level, and so that looks really good. And then going back to my love NVIDIA, someone in the chat said, you know, can you see it going up to the day's high here around 134.80? And I definitely think that is possible, but I want to see what it does at VWAP 133.22. If we can bounce off of this level, then I may have some more conviction for it to retrace up to this 134.78 level, but I wouldn't want to get in around here. I want to see some more confirmation there. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. How about you?
All right, OKLO. By the way, anybody on Real Trading, OKLO, free shorts. You don't need to, you don't need to pay for them. Just tried this one right now. Why'd I even look at this? Well, because I got out top wick, and look where we're having trouble yet again. Same area, 1540. So for whatever reason, there is a seller of note at 1540. And in addition to that, we're still putting in lower highs and lower lows. So, I have a rule that I don't short these small cap gappers north of VWAP because it's one way to get smoked. Let me find out what this situation is with Oklo. $1.8 billion company, 31.4 million shares traded today and about 83 million share float. Let's bring down trade ideas, find out what the short float, if any, or, well, they usually is, but of note. Yeah, decent, 12 1/3% of, well, trade idea says 70 million shares. My platform says 83. Potato, 12 1/3% right now. Is the short flow. So not a bad look, certainly. And this one can go parabolic, but I don't want to be taking this south north of VWAP over here. It's going to have to break down below 14.25 for me to get interested. I need to stick to my rules. Yesterday it was a tough day trading these small cap gappers. I didn't execute well, so we're going to have to follow the rules today. SMR continues to go, Katina, man. I don't know what, this one's the only one that's not giving it up. And the likelihood is because there's an energy play here that we need to concern ourselves with. Okay, SMCI is just hitting 50 again. I'll get to that one in a second. It didn't trigger my my alert. SMR. Is this on the NQ? Where is this trade at, man? New York? Thank you. Bruh. There we go. SMR. Look, it's holding. It dipped briefly below the 18. I'm assuming this probably pushed a lot of people out. This dip below 18 probably stopped a whole bunch of people out because it got to 1780, about a cool 20 pennies below that 18 area, and we have been defending that 18 area quite well. It looks like we're on the way up here, man, to high at day 1848. We're 2 pennies away, 1 penny away now from breaking that HOD. How do we weasel in here? I'm not punching in at highs. We're going to have to come down to like 1820 or something like that. I need to get it on a retracement. It's just not my style to punch in at highs, but very interested on this one. Back to SMCI, we rejected 50 initially. We're right back there. Is there a seller of note with size at 50? Not from what I can see. At least not posted right now. Could be an iceberg order hanging around 50. We already know that 50 has been a resistance level, at least intraday. 50.20 was a quick wick up, but look at that. All the closing prints, even on the one south of 50. But here we go. Looks like we're going to do the dance right now with 50 bucks. Let's see how this resolves. But SMCI in play today, 4.5%. We know what this one can do. It's a post split, so more retail investors can weasel into this intraday. I'm going to keep my eye on this one because it's zigging and zagging with 50 right now today.
Awesome. And so I took a little bit of a scalp on TSM. And so I'm just going to show you guys here. So I got in around 188.44. And so I didn't like the fact that I saw a little bit of a bounce here. And so I got out at 188.33 and 37s. So a nice little scalp. That's me. I like to get in and out within the same candlestick, usually 1 to 5 minute candlestick. I just find that I could find, like, when I catch that volatility on the book and also on the candlestick, I could just catch it really quickly. And so that's what I'm comfortable with. Don't want it to move against me. So took my little 7 pennies, good for me. And so happy, starting out really nice today on that. And so want to look back on my UNH. Let's see what it's doing here. Still waiting for that 570 to trigger. Coming in hot. So what I don't want to see though is, so usually I don't get in passively, just because I want to see how it reacts at the level. And so I do have the order sitting there, but I'm going to immediately get out if I don't like what I'm seeing on the book. And so waiting for that level to come in, still waiting a little bit there. So I'm just going to leave that there. Going to Tesla, you little sneaky little baby. 219.08, bouncing a little bit off of that. And so this is what I don't like about like this continuation on the day's low. Like sometimes they can really catch you, especially if you're getting in right at these lows here. And so I want to see another retest of this level. And I feel like the retest of 219 again may give me some more confirmation there. But this bounce is a little worrisome, in the short term. And so just want to look at that. I may look at it again at 11:45. Hopefully I see that a strong 15-minute candle coming below 219. That's really what I want to see. But as of right now, it looks like it's bouncing a little bit tricky there. And so I just want to be aware of that. So Tesla, you're not going to get me this time, Tesla, not today. And so looking at TSM here, TSM, I really wanted the continuation for the short. I was looking for a break below 188.28. I got in around, 188.44, looking at that, but didn't come in. And so we're going to Adara. She's going to drop some hot lines for us.
Hey.
Right now, like we like to do every day around 11:40 a.m. on the midday show, is take a look at some earnings names, either that are having day one reactions or that are set to report this evening or tomorrow morning. So if these are any tickers that you're looking at and you want to know what Sean and Obi will have to say about them, make sure you vote. You have about 2 hours left to do so. Voting closes at 1:50 p.m. All you have to do is go in the chat, which is a subscribers only chat, and press $join, space, $, and whatever ticker you like. One of these earnings tickers on watch here is UAL. This is United Airlines, up, taking a bit of a hit here, but still up about 11%. They beat on earnings per share and sales, though all of their entire guidance range for Q4 EPS completely missed the analyst estimates. They also announced a $1.5 billion buyback, and they made some comments about Boeing. The United Airlines CFO says they're, quote, rooting for Boeing, also saying apparently their CapEx outlook is going to be more downwardly biased due to these delays. So ended up being a good look here for UAL with that lower CapEx estimate. Now, Morgan Stanley, another day one's earnings play, this one reported this morning. We do have a beat for EPS and sales, so strong look, much like many of these bank earnings we have. This one actually made new highs here, up 7% as of right now. We also had the CFO providing some guidance saying that they actually see an increase in investment banking activity over the next few quarters. Now, here's a look here at the preview. Tonight, actually, in the market recap, I believe you'll have Sharif taking you through these earnings. Bit of a lighter day, but we do have KMI, AA, and DFS. So Kinder Morgan, Alcoa, and Discovery Financial Services here with Sharif on watch. TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturers here. TSM, absolutely on watch. We saw what ASML did. So this is another international semiconductor that could be making some moves. Infosys, INFY, also on watch tomorrow morning. Again, guys, make sure you vote for your ticker of choice, $join, space, $, and whatever ticker you like.
Very much. Adara trying to get filled here on SMCI as it broke 50, trying to get a bit of a dip trade. The spread is not allowing me to get filled. I'm waiting at 5s. The fill is going to go unfulfilled. here if we don't get it and it pops up. Waiting at 5s. All right, there we got it now. Looking to hold this one for maybe a possible 50-20 break over here. So we're going to have to pack our patience on this one and see exactly what we get. We won't get upset still. So that's the look there. All right, so let's put in the beak wetter. In and around there and see what comes from that. All right, I'm also in SMR over here as it finally decides to like zig and zag. I'm looking to defend this 20 penny area. So it's gonna have to hold above this 20 penny area for me to stay interested. I'm looking for trend continuation of higher highs and higher lows. If that breaks, I'm out. That's no longer. There goes SMCI, baby, as we take out the top, Katina, man. Let's see if we can weasel up a little bit more over here. SMCE doing its absolute best today. Shout out to Adara, who used to call it SMCE all the time. But there we go, 27s now printing 28s. Let's zig and zag a little bit more. Somebody was telling me in the chat that this was the gap fill. We'll have to wait and see. I didn't actually chart this from that perspective. Was just looking at it from the 5 for areas of support and resistance off which to get in. We're going to have to pack our patience to see if we can eke out some more gains over here. I'm going to hang out just south of that 40 penny area, see if we can take out some profits there, packing my patience with SMCI. SMR, though, going to have to hold here, man. Otherwise, I want no smoke. 34.8%, 35%. It's going to have to zig and zag above that 50. Otherwise, eek. What are you looking at?
For sure. So I'm looking at Intel. Intel looks pretty interesting as of right. I like the fact that it bounced off of VWAP around 11 a.m. And so I like that distinct bounce. We do have this uptrend here on the 3-minute that I really like. It's coming down, hitting this trend line, and then trickling its way up. I don't want to go too crazy with this trade. I got in at 22.30. My take profit is 22.40. So looking to take about 10 cents on that one. Why did I take it? Well, it's just because it's near the day's high. And so sometimes there is a little bit of a rejection there. And so I might even adjust my take profit. I'm thinking, I know it's 1 cent, but 22.39. I just want to get that fill. I want to make sure that it just doesn't get to that level and bang down from that level. And so I think I'm going to adjust my take profit to 22.39. Call me particular, but that's just, I want to make sure I get that fill. So shout out to you. Good morning, Adam. Shout out to you.
Adam.
And so, yeah, that's what I'm looking at in terms of that. What is UNH doing here? Yeah, it still didn't trigger me. It's still holding above that VWAP, still looking good for the long as of right now. I still believe that it's going to trend higher, but I particularly want it close to VWAP. That is just my risk parameters. And so definitely looking good there. I definitely could see it getting, near these highs. I would say 575.35, 575 is definitely a reasonable profit target there. And so that is looking good as well. And so what are you doing, Tesla? Tesla's still bouncing off of that 219 level, retracing up to VWAP, looking, to meet that 220 mark. So let's see what it does there. So yes, that is what I am looking at. And then someone is saying Boeing in the chat, I believe. Boeing. Okay, let's look at Boeing. Very interesting. Oh, very interesting. Okay. We had this bounce here at 10:15 from that 151 level. I definitely think that's interesting because those psychological levels, I know it's not exactly there, but that 150, that 200 definitely is something interesting. I didn't necessarily know that there's any news on this, but I feel like the psychological level alone is definitely, parameters enough for you to be interested in it. And we have Adara. She got some hotline.
There actually is some Boeing news. We did have earlier today the U.S. Chamber of Commerce saying that they would like Boeing strike to end because of the amount of jobs it's impacting. We also have just now some more comments coming out of UAL's CEO and CFO. We did have mention earlier that there was quite a bit of furor coming out of this earnings call with regards to Boeing, actually mostly positive, saying that their CapEx from UAL is now lower with regards to the Boeing and Airbus delays. We also had UAL saying they're, quote, rooting for Boeing. Now, a couple of minutes ago, we have UAL CEO saying they're actually not expecting Boeing to file for Chapter 11. They acknowledge the impact of the strike on UAL's schedule, but they said they're, quote, encouraged by the long-term emphasis on Boeing. They also had some positive things to say about new Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg, So lots of love, I guess, for Boeing coming from the UAL conference call, guys.
Shadera for that, just added here on SPCE as it broke down, got stopped out for the remaining amount. Added, where I add, at 80s, looking for it to hold a higher low situation, looking to scalp out of this one. If it wants to give me about a mid 90s, we'll take that. Otherwise, if it breaks down below 60, that's going to be the end of my trade on SMCI. But looking for this one to zig and zag. Right now, as it does its dance with that hold dollar level, SMCI up 4 and change and trying to do its most to break through that 50 penny level. But there's a lot of, look at this tape movement right now. So there's a lot of interest. You can tell newer trade or newer money weaseling into this, whether long or short. Here we go. Up into the mid 90s or low 90s, excuse me. There we go. We get the print, baby. Okay, now we're about 20, 25 pennies in the money now. Let's go through 50 again. If we can get that 50 break on a second time, I'm still going to wait at that 40 area. If it does, though, drop below my entry, I'm gone on this one. What are we doing over here on SMR? Not good. Didn't do well on this one. It broke down below 20s. I want no smoke on this. It's going to have to hold up at the higher highs and higher lows. This, you know, hey, look, I got in at a bad time. But as I look at it now, on the 5-minute, I'm talking about SMR, look at this. It shadowed the 10 well. So maybe I didn't put my stop in the right place, but it did breach the 10, which is fine. And then right back up it goes, and here we go again. So that's a bit of a bamboozler there. It happened to me too many times yesterday for me to want that to happen again. So let's see exactly what we get here. It looks like as if I had the right area for my stop, just too close to support. And I remember you did the lessons on stop losses, and I think you were very apt in saying, don't put it at those, you know, very close areas of support or resistance. Don't put it at options expiry day or prices, etc. And I think I made the boo-boo there because I had the right idea. And now it's like 25 pennies higher after I got stopped out. So yeah, that's just the way it is, though, right? Yeah. So SMR on the way up, just without me. We'll have to do a little bit better here on SMCI. If it wants to take 50, I'd love to be able to take something at the 40 penny area, but it's having a whole lot of trouble holding that 50s.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking at that, actually. I think, to be honest, it may retrace a little bit to around this morning drive high. So I'm looking at that 49 level. Want to see what it does there. I definitely feel like it can pull back a little bit there. If I look on the 15-minute, I want to see the break. So what I'm looking at is when the new 15-minute candle starts, so that's going to be at 12 p.m., I want to see kind of a break below this candle here. And so that is kind of like a pivotal level. If we can hold above that, then we may, you know, continue forward. But I would say, like, looking at this point, looking at the tape and looking at the book may be very helpful. So let's just look at it real quick. So we're looking at it here. There's a little 2 penny, 3 penny spread there. It's just at that, okay, so yeah, it's banging down from that 95 level. It doesn't really want to hold there. And so definitely don't like the look as of that. Yeah, it's at 80s now. So not looking the looks of that as of now, but want to see that pullback here around 49s. Definitely don't think that it's going to be bearish for the rest of the day. Definitely think just a little bit of pullback. And so if you're getting in around here, it might be a little bit too early. Wait for a little bit of a base before you start, you know, getting the party started and continuing up to the upside.
No trouble.
And then we have member for 12 months. Hey guys, thanks for watching me ride the queues alone for over 190K in options this year. I'm so pumped you are finally talking options. Shout out to Joe. He is, you know, he's taking a break today, but he'll be back tomorrow. And so he's going to give you guys those options lessons. So a shout out to him. Joe. And so, yeah, that's what I'm looking on SMCI. How about you, Sharif?
I'm cruising for a bruise in here, man, because I'm looking to get back into SMR. I feel like I got shaken out of it, and I still think the trade is accurate, but I'm also lamenting having taken out everything of Oklo. Look at this. Here we go. High at daybreak. Okay. LO. A bit of a larger short float, guys, so we can definitely move in a parabolic way. Just really depends on where the shorts are hanging out and when they get squeezed. I'm looking, you're not going to catch me shorting this name at this level, but a double top could be brewing here. We breached the previous high by how much? 1589. Sorry, we didn't actually breach it. We equaled it. 1589 double top initially at 1050, and then we just printed it right now. So about an hour separating this double top. Again, you know, mean reversion traders might be salivating at this if they like to short these small. Well, this is not a small cap gapper per se, but these more, let's just call them gappers, I guess, because it's not really a small cap in the strict sense. Anyway, I'm watching this one. If it wants to give me something possibly off 1560 now, like look how many times we got into 1560 and we had trouble with it. Over here, and then consolidate over here. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that we zig and zag, come back down to 1560, find our footing, and then breach that 1589 double top. I'm going to try that. So let's go and hang out at 63s, because what's life without whimsy? Is that, did I put one share? Wow. I didn't even know it allowed me to do that. So we'll hang out over here, see if we can something in and around here. If we can, fantastic. If not, all good. Took it out, SMCI took out it at 50. I didn't like how this was trading at 50, so took out both pieces there at $50. It wasn't going, and this is not what I want to see. You know, you like to give it some time at the level, but this was doing the wick shimmy in the way that I didn't want to see the wick shimmy from the south side. If it wants to do the wick shimmy from the top side, fantastic, but not from the south side, not if I'm long. If I'm short, fantastic, but no. This is not what I wanted, so I took it out at 50, positive on this one. Good trade, looking for a setup a different way. I'm still very interested on that same level I gave you guys at the outset, around $49, maybe $49.20, in and around that area to take advantage of that implied balance high. And also, at the time, it was a 10 exponential, now it's a 20. So that's a look there. SMR continuing to go. I hate the stock. Just not sure how to trade it right now. Just not sure how to trade it. You know, it's holding the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, but it's not giving me that continuation trend up with higher highs and higher lows. Now you're getting a mixed bag with some actually lower lows and lower highs, but we're closing above the 10. So bit of a mixed picture right now with SMR. I'm just going to pack my patience on it as well. I know you guys have been talking about this, but you know, this is not my style of trade. I love small cap gappers, but not the ones that halt every 5-10 minutes. And this one certainly qualifies for that. SAIH. Let me give you the details on it for those who want to trade it. $37.5 million market cap, 10.5 million shares traded on the day, about 13.6 million share float. And let's find out what the short float is. SAIH. Nothing here displaying from trade ideas, so I won't be able to give you a data point on that. But halted at $1.52. This is halted now once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 halts, 2 to the downside, 5 to the upside. So it's holding VWAP. It's also like you can even just gauge these halts. It almost looks like price action. All right, it's open now, $1.70, possibly something maybe off $1.50, $1.52. This ain't my cup of tea, but it's on the way. It looks like to $1.75, maybe $2. It's open now, up 187%. Small cap gapper season is in full effect, guys, and you're going to see a lot of these, you know, pop up intraday over here in triple-digit territory. Satya, what are you looking at?
For sure. So I am still looking at this Intel as of right now. I was actually really thinking about punching out, but I'm going to give it, you know, some room just because I feel like I'm not wrong until we hit this 2198 level. I wasn't too heavy on this, and so I feel like I can give it the room that it deserves. But usually if I am getting in heavier, if I get in and it's not immediately in the money, usually I'll just punch out because I like to see it, you know, get in the money very quickly. But with this one, just because I feel like I'm not necessarily wrong yet, I will just keep it flowing and hopefully I can get to my profit target of 2240, which I definitely think I can get to. But a lot of the time, like at least with my trades personally, I don't like the zig and zag here. I just like a straight green candle up to the moon. And so that's what I like. But with this one, I feel like it's just trending up slowly. And so I'm just going to give it some time and some room. And so I will keep that going. Something someone else said in the chat, DJT, and so really interested in that. Let's look on DJT. So something that I'm looking at is this high here around 2980. Looking for, okay, we are at 2980 actually. So I'm looking, what I do like is the fact that we bounced off of VWAP at 1115, and then we kind of have this base here on the 3-minute. And so I really like this. I really like the fact that it made this base and it's continuing to the upside. And then there was a little bit of news that I was reading this morning about Donald Trump, and he had like a coin, a World Liberty coin. And so maybe, I don't know if that might, impact this stock as well, just because.
No equity. You don't get any equity. You just get voting rights for whatever. Look, I'm not trying to disparage the whole thing, but to me, it just seemed like kind of what you and I talked about.
Yeah,
I went down.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't well received either.
Yeah, and I was trying to look more about it, like on the website, but the website's crashed. I can't even.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so I couldn't even like look up more information on that, and so I definitely think that may have impact on why DJT may be moving. So definitely some volatility there. Very interesting. Don't know about the coin. That's another topic there, but I definitely think that some of that crypto news may pool into the volatility on DJT today. So definitely something very interesting. Oh, wow, it's moving 3018 as of right now. It's looking to blast off above this high of 3023. So definitely interesting. Don't necessarily have a bus stop level for this, to be honest, but we're going to Adara. She got some news for us.
It's been a pretty exciting trading session. We've had a lot of volatility and excitement over the past few weeks, and right now, not quite this Uptober that we were looking for either the S&P 500 or the Qs over the last few days. Marginal positivity here for the SPY, up less than 0.1%. Meanwhile, we do have the Qs a little bit weaker for the second day in a row, underperforming the SPY. A lot of continuation plays, more crypto strength, more oil weakness, more turmoil and volatility going on there in China with regards to it's actually nearing a correction level apparently from its October 8th high. So certainly those ADRs on watch, but some other stocks on watch include the nuclear space. SMR coming into this previous resistance here around 1810. When we looked at this one during the morning happening now, it was trading just above $15. Current high of day here around 1870s. We do have nuclear stocks on watch after Amazon, now the third Meg 7 company in the last month or so to announce it's investing in nuclear power. So SMR, this company is called NewScale, with a short float of more than 20% on watch here. Next up, we've got ASML. Interesting little level here, bounce off that 686 level now twice. Let's see if we make a higher low as we're trying to do here with some interesting 690 interactions. This is a day to move after its earlier than expected earnings release yesterday, which was, quote, erroneously published according to the company. They also had a really interesting earnings call today where they said the CEO was saying that it would be sad, if the chip AI demand lowers, because that could be upsetting for the chip space. So definitely emphasizing the amount of emphasis AI has been playing here in the chip space. ASML, interesting look there. Day two, down almost 6%. If these or any other tickers are on your mind or on your watch list and you want to know what Sean and Obi have to say, get in the chat and let us know. Exclamation point join, space, $, and the ticker. No Neil today, so we're going right back to Sharif and Satea.
Appreciate you, Adara. Thank you for that. All right, while Adara was dropping said hot lines, I got long SMCI at 48.80, and here we go. I wet my beak at 49 a couple of times already. Let's see if this one goes. All right, here we go with 49 again. We're long 79s. Ideally, we go back to 49.40 to account for this area previously support. Now let's see if it acts as resistance. First and foremost, though, we got to get back above 49, right? So I put my stop about 10 pennies lower than my entry for the last little amount. I've already taken out a couple of pieces over here on SMCI, bit of a bigger position for me. I don't usually trade bigger positions on the show. In any event, it's going to have to hold this area if I stay interested. Otherwise, I want no smoke. The only reason I'm in this trade at this level is to account for this previous area of price action resistance, assuming that it flips to support once it gets tested from the upside, actually. Got a little excited there. Not appropriate. But in any event, let's see if it holds up here. SMCI trying to trade this one off. Well, there's also VWAP as well. I mean, it's not just this price action support area. It also happens to be the volume weighted average price, but that means precious little if it breaks that level. So it's going to have to respect the level. Otherwise, I want no smoke. Zigging and zagging south of 49 right now. It seems that there is a bit of a seller in the mid to high 90s. Here we go with 50 again, being met with some more selling. What are the chips doing right now? I just want to see. Are they in a bullish trend? NVIDIA looks like it's popping up. All right, so what is AMD doing? Maybe I should look at SMH. You know, as SMCI marches to the beat of its own drum sometimes, but it's nice to have an idea. Yeah, I'm going to hold it here. I'm just going to let it either, stop me out through the break of 70 because now it's at my entry, and it looks like as if it will stop me out for the remaining amount if we zig and zag any lower. Below 71s, and there it is. So we'll get stopped out for the remaining amount. All good. Profitable on it, but the volatility is just a little bit too rich for my blood there. SMR continuing to look at that level that Adara brought to us. Still not really doing a whole lot through that level, but this one is just going. So Oklo, I got in on this one as it dipped in, got out. This was a wrong exit over here. As it broke through the high of the day, I was of a bias. Wow, Oklo, it's just taking out these levels, bruh. I was of a bias that, we may mean revert. I wasn't going to short it, so I wasn't going to put my money where my mouth was because I don't short these small cap gappers north of VWAP, but I had a bit of a bias. I was wrong. This was continuing to go. 16 and a fifth now. 16.22 is the high of the day. 38 and 2/3%. I mean, if it gives me a level off 1590, which by definition means that it has to breach 16 again, I'm good with that. Why? Because 1590 was a bit of a double top. So if it wants to act as resistance twice intraday, does it act as support when it gets tested from the north side? I'm probably going to have a resting order, just like I did with SMCI for that level. I'm going to put it at 1592 or whatever to try to front run the size or front run the level. We'll put that there. We'll see what we get. We won't get upset. That obviously, by definition, it can go without us because I'm not going to punch in at highs. I'm just not going to do that. So OKLO in on watch. Another one. Katina Man was involved in this one in the pre. It's another small cap gapper. QNRX, and this one's halted to no end, Obe. 1, 2, 3, 4 halts. 3 to the upside, 1 to the downside. This has been halting big, but it's also been quite directional. It moved right at 9 a.m. prior to the pre-market. This one was going, and it continued. This seems like a bit of a midday breakout here. I mean, we never really got above that pre-market high until about 11:30, and now we can't stop halting. I don't like trading these halting names. I just don't, right? I like small cap gappers, but not the ones that halt to no end. So if it wants to calm down and give me a trend, we'll get involved. Otherwise, I'm just going to watch it from the sidelines. QNRX, good look. Oh my God, Oklo, bro. This was going. Satea. It's just going. Forget about my 1590. This thing's at 1640.
Is that the one that you got stopped out of right before? Oh, man.
And I got back in, though. I got back in and did a little better on it. But it's going, and I didn't hold. Yeah, all good. What do you?
It gets ya. Right now, I'm looking at UAL, and so I really wanted to punch in here, but I was just like, hold your horses. It's not part of your plan as of right now. But what I really do like is the fact that we had this bottom here, 2 touches, $71 there, and then what I was really looking at. It might be a little bit too much to ask for, to be honest, because it's going up as of right now. I was looking for a pullback of 70.62. I don't think I'm going to get that, to be honest. I think that's asking for too much. But hopefully, maybe I might put a target level here at 70.90, hopefully for a little bit of a dip by there. I really wanted to get in at 71.50, but I was just like, I don't know. I should have got in because usually I like to get in actively when it's making that curl up like this rounded, like this little curve here. And so I really like that as of right now. But I think I kind of missed my move. So I'm going to wait for a little bit of a pullback. But if you have a bigger risk tolerance, I definitely think that you can get in here and, risk these lows around 70, 96 and, still have a good, decent move there. But just for me, Don't like the look of that as of right now. And then someone said Apple in the chat, 2 New York cent. I love it. 2 NY cent. So he says, it looks like Apple has reached a bottom, consolidated here, and maybe looking to go up. To be honest, from my playbook trade, anything below VWAP is a short to me as of right now. And the fact that it's approaching these days low, I know the days low is at 229.84, it's still going to be a continuation of the short. I don't necessarily want to jump in as of right now because we are kind of consolidating between VWAP and the days low. And so, you know, it's more of a choppy action there. But if we can get below 22.89, sorry, 229.84, then I'm looking for the short there. So not necessarily looking for a bounce, but it is possible. If you are looking for the short, me personally, I'm only looking for, the long. If you're looking for the long, I'm only looking for the long above VWAP. So that's going to be above 231.10, and that's when I would initiate my long. But as of right now, it's just not in my playbook to get in at these lows because I don't necessarily, You can know you're wrong here. Like if you got in at 230.30, you could risk this 229.90. But I definitely think that we are on the downside, and so I don't think that it's good enough of a bounce for me to really play in there. I really want to see it get above 231.17, and then I would initiate that long. So that's my look on Apple there. Not looking too great. Where's my UNH? That has not triggered yet. Let's take a look at that. Oh, not YNH, UNH. Okay, and so yeah, it still didn't get triggered there. Could have got in around 572.38, but I'm still wishing and hoping for that VWAP. May not get it, to be honest. I feel like by the time it does get to this VWAP, I may not want it anymore. I wanted to see it, you know, around 1140, and so I think I might actually cancel that order because I wanted to see it at the time around 1140, didn't really get that. And so I feel like if it does retrace there now, it could break VWAP. So I just don't like that as of right now. So I'm just going to delete that. Where is that? UNH? Yeah, just going to delete that. And then my Intel, it's looking like it's trekking up in the money. So 1 cent above my entry. So I'm glad I didn't get out of that because usually, like I said, I like to see it get in the money as soon as I get in. But the fact that it's just, it's moving up. I can see the trend very vividly here. I didn't want to get tricked out. I realized that, you know, there was a little bit of selling here around 1148 and then as well as around 1130. Retracing back, but the fact that it held above this trend line, I liked it. If it broke below this trend line, then I would say, okay, I'm not really liking it at all. I'm going to get out. But the fact that it held above that trend line, looking really good, and I really feel like I could get 5 pennies. Come on, give me 5 pennies, Intel. I definitely think it could get there. That's what I'm looking at. How about you, Sharif?
I'm watching Oklo just go. Wow. Big move up here, 1677 HOD. It really blew by these areas, but I think it is getting quite extended away from the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So that's kind of my informal gauge of how to gauge overbought and oversold conditions on these small cap gappers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to front run the size at 6 or the level at 16, which also happens to be right now the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. If it wants to come back in and test those levels, I'm looking at front running it by a little bit, but it just looks awfully strong. My only reason I'm setting up a dip trade in this fashion is because I'm gauging that it is a little too extended and it needs to come back in for a retracement. We'll find out if it does or doesn't when we get back from Madeira.
Keep an eye on BlackBerry here. BB on the NYSE here with a news pending halt. Some news coming here out of the company, apparently expecting fiscal 2025 revenue of $350 million to $365 million. They're also expecting break-even results for the fiscal year. Additionally, there is another note coming through here on BlackBerry. Also, apparently, here they're exploring options for their Cylance business, and they're going to be, quote, taking steps to streamline their investments in Cylance and increase their capital allocation for growth in secure communications. So that is a note coming through here for BB. Again, currently halted. Keep you guys posted as to the moves on that. Halted 3.82% to the upside.
Thank you for that, Adara. All right, setting up my orders over here. Just allow me a second Just organize that. All right, so we're gonna keep an eye on Oklo, and I have to probably put an alert because now it's kind of rejecting, coming back into that $0.5 Fabian. If we can kind of show the chart over here, yeah, there we go. Coming back into that $0.5, looking for it to break down a little bit more. Let's see how deeply it wants to retrace, if at all, even if it even breaks 50. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Loving this look on OKLO. It's the most directional of these small cap gapper style trades. The other ones that are directional are halting far too much. QNRX still halted. This time I see it to the downside. So I'll keep an eye out on that one, but I'm finding that OKLO seems to be getting its footing here at the $0.5. So if it's gonna hold up support at the $0.5 and then continue on its merry way, fantastic. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a smaller position at around the $0.5, and then I'll look to DCA, dollar cost average, into the level that I liked, which was around 16. Where am I hanging out here? Okay, I might not even have to do that. It's coming down into my level. Here we go. So let's see what it does. If it wants to come back into 16.20, we'll front run the size at 16. Here we go. Let's see, 37's printing over here. So kind of breaking through the $0.5. Here comes the third of a dollar. Breaking through a third. Does it break through the quarter? So nice little retracement here on OKLO. As I always mention, keep your eye out on the 10 exponential on the 5. When you're trading these small cap gappers, it's an informal way of being able to gauge overbought and oversold conditions. So I think we're close enough to my area over here where I can get in the initial amount, and then I can look to DCA if it comes in. The order is already there. So leave that one, let it cook. Obviously anything below 16 or thereabouts, I want no smoke. So it's gonna have to hold that general 16 area, knowing full well that the double top wasn't 16, it was 15, I believe 88 or 89. So good look there. Let's see if we can weasel out some shareage over here in front of the $0.5. And here we go, printing 45s. Yeah, zig and zag. I don't want to take it out too quickly over here, so we'll see if it wants to print us or not. What are you looking at, Satea?
For sure. So someone said WBA in the chat, and so I'm just going to take a quick look at that. And so some distinct levels that I'm looking at is this 1068, 1070 level, as well as this 1064 level. So this 1064 level comes from yesterday's high. So that is looking good. I really like the look of second day earnings plays. And so I definitely think that is a distinct level. I would want to see a dip buy between this 1069 and this 1064. I want to see a hold above that, a little bit of, comes down, a little bit of zag, maybe this, but I want to see a bounce off of that level for the continuation for the long. Definitely looking at that. What I really like about this was the fact that at 10.20, we made this distinct bounce at $10.30, and then it's been strong all the way up here to this 1080 mark. I definitely think that the bust stop level that I'm looking at, okay, so 1064, okay, yeah, so I am looking for that dip buy. I feel like that 1064 will give you more room for the long, but we're going to Adara. She has something to tell us.
Some hard dice here coming from BB. So just for context, this is actually at their Investors Day. So BlackBerry having an Investors Day and announcing, just to recap in case you missed it, 2025 revenue, fiscal 2025 revenue between 350 and 365 million. They also said they're looking for break-even results for the year. That was their kind of the theme of what they've said here. Also, we're noting here they did announce they might be selling some of their Cylance business. So Cylance is actually AI-driven threat detection. They said they're going to be, quote, exploring options for their Cylance business, and saying they're going to be taking steps to streamline their investment in Cylance. So increasing capital allocation as well. So increasing capital allocation to, quote, exploring options in Cylance for BB.
Increasing capital allocation. That's one of my favorite things to do. I don't know about you. When I'm kind of bored, I increase that capital allocation. So yeah. All right, took it out over here on OKLO. Long, I think I got 34s. We just got some out at 50s. We're going to play the scalping game with this one until it shows me the direction. I still have my resting order, resting entry, I should say, south of that 20 penny area to front run the size at 16. But this current 5-minute candle is another higher low. So that's 3 higher lows now on these, I guess you could call them 3 5-minute consolidative candles here on OKLO. And I saw somebody in the chat say OKLO overextended. Yeah, I just literally finished saying that, which is why I set up a dip trade and then punch in at highs, right? Use the 10 exponential as an informal gauge of overbought and oversold when you're trading these small cap gappers. So this is what I'm talking about, the 3 candle higher low. These 3 over here, you don't necessarily have that higher high. But when you have higher lows like this, what it's telling you, what these candlestick patterns are telling you, that the buyer exuberance increases on every little ascent. So if the buyers were, picking it up at 16, 17 on this candle, now they're picking it up at 25s, and over here they're picking it up at 36s because it's not able to break those levels. So good look right now as it breaks through the $0.50 again, possibly on the way to that $0.75 HOD on OKLO. I'm still going to trade this one as a dip trade rather than punching it at highs, but I'd like to have a bit of a better price. SAIH is breaking down again, this time halted down south of VWAP this time, giving back a lot of that profit. It's trying to hold on to $1. It's a different trade north and south of $1. Keep your eye out on this one. If it gives up $1, then, this could be an interesting short off the dollar if it is to pop back in. All right, so I wouldn't be so quick to short it, even though it's below VWAP right now. So it does fit within my parameters for short for these small cap gappers. But we'll pack our patience with this one. SMCI doing a bit of a 4 candle hold up for whatever reason in and around VWAP in the 50. Okay, and now we're kind of getting this higher low situation over here with this 1205 candle being the low, then the subsequent 1210 candle, a higher low, and yeah, you guessed it, that 1215 candle, yet another higher low, but this time with a higher high. So could this be a nice curl back up for SMCI to retest that 50 or that 50 and a third HOD that we put in earlier? We've been trading this one. So I'm going to look back here at SPCE, see if we can get anything on this bad boy. And look at that nice rounded bottom, big spile. Would be awfully impressed. And I don't know what Obi said today about backsides and cents and stuff like that, but it was hilarious and it made me chuckle. So shout out to the Obi. He is the one. Kenob sitting right next to me right now. I'm very focused as he typically is. So SMCI doing a nice little curl back up through 49, but is this the kind of the umbrella pattern that Adara talks about and then sends it right back down through a flat bottom break through 48.60 because that's where it found its footing, right? Big down move, we curl, and then boom, we break back down through 48.60. It's possible. It's possible. Let's keep an eye out on this one, Sate.
Awesome. So I am just going to go over my Intel trade. So I got out a little bit early, not going to lie. I had my take profit at 22.40, got out at 22.35. I felt like it may wick there. I know I should have held it. I'm convicted in 22.40.
Hey.
I could get to 22.40, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't have, the diamond's hands that I should. And so, you know what? I was happy with my little 5 cents. And so I just wanted to make sure that it didn't wick from those highs. I just always get scared when it approaches those highs. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that I took profits before then. And so it does look like it's coming down a little bit. Okay, 22.36. But I wanted to make sure that I got the fill because that has been happening to me a lot. I just don't get the fill. And so I wanted to make sure. And so I just punched out. Ooh, okay, it's at 22.33. So I am glad that I punched out then because if I didn't get that fill, I would have been mad. And so that is what I am looking at. And then someone in the chat, Nick Murzakani, I'm sorry if I butchered that. I am so sorry. But I will look at ATNF for you. Let's see what's that is looking like. ATNF. This is more of like a smaller price range. This looks like more of a you question, Sharif. What do you think about ATNF?
Oh, that's that monster that was running yesterday. The Katina man covered it this morning. We did as well. Look, man, if it doesn't hold, I just have to set my stops and stuff like that for this one. Just give me one sec.
Sharif will come back to that on that one. Another question that I wanted to go over is someone says, how do I find a bus stop level? And so I'll go over that for sure. So I call a bus stop level. I look back like on the previous days or the day's highs. I'm just looking at previous candles and where the top and the bottom of those candles. So for example, let's say on Intel, okay, let's go to something else. Let's look at, I don't know, NVIDIA. Let's just say NVIDIA. Okay, so with NVIDIA, my bus stop level would be like the previous day's high. So a bus stop level that I'm looking at would be around 138.55, just the high of that. Or another bus stop level, if I was looking for the short, would be this 128.82. And so I just look back at the candles and I just look at like what the highs are, what the lows are, and I look at that as my potential target. And so I use it in unison with the ATR and things like that, but usually just visually, I'm just looking at where the candles previously has been, again, looking at that high and looking at that low, and that's how I determine my bus stop level. So if we look on like a higher time frame, for example, my bus stop level on a longer term would be, well, the closest one here is Monday, October 14th, and so this bus stop level is around 139.59, and then again here on Tuesday from this 138.44. So that's how I find or determine my bus stop levels. And then, are you good, Sri?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you for that.
No problem.
All right, ATNF. Let's have a look at the 5-minute on this one first. So, fantastic mover. I mean, who can complain about this? Really got its footing at 8 a.m., started its life at $1.50, and then we got all the way up into a light, $18.88. Not a big deal. Let's just count the percentage because I know it was over 1,000% at the highs. Yeah, about 1,128 or 25%. Good look for this name. But look what it's done since then. Lower high, really kind of straddling VWAP. But look from where? The south side. That's not what I want. I want to see this one straddle it from the top side. Satea talks about this a lot. If it's below VWAP, it's a short for her. I don't have much of a different look with these small cap gappers. If I'm going to take them long as a breakout trade, they need to be trading above VWAP. I'll short them as a breakdown trade below VWAP. I do have exceptions. I'll range trade them below or above VWAP, whether long or short, but I won't look for a breakout trade. So that's kind of my little 2 cents on that. It's got to get above 1050. And personally, I don't want to trade this because it's shown its propensity to go parabolic like that. And I need something a bit more chilled out. Let's just say that, okay? This one, too volatile for me, even though it didn't really halt all that much because it was trading in the pre-market where we don't have volatility halts. So that's a look there. Now, I'm long 49.05 on SMCI. Wet my beak there at 20s. My next profit taker at 39s, but it's going to have to hold this area. I'm also long AAPL over here at 1620 to account for this area hold. But we're going to look to trade this as a scalp, and it better hold 1610, or I'm not going to take anything on this. We'll get out. I'm not going to look to basically. Actually, no, I have to give this to 16. Right. So we're going to pack our patience on this one, and there is a good chance that I might be able to DCA into this. In and around 16. So I'm going to pack my patience to see what we get over here. Okay, LO, I'd like it above 16. If it wants to pop up now, give me the profits now, fine. Otherwise, we'll look to add a little bit to defend that $16 level. Okay, LO, very strong. And it looks like it's holding up above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Okay, LO is what I'm talking about right now, guys. All right, SMCI coming right back down into my area, but I have my stop already in place for this. If it defends the volume weighted average price at 448.83, I'm interested in adding. Otherwise, I want no smoke. What do we got, Adara?
We have NVIDIA trying to break up of this edge of resistance here around 134.20. We have Stanley Druckenmiller saying that selling his NVIDIA stock was, quote, a big mistake. So I guess could be a bit of a bullish look for NVIDIA. Just keep an eye on NVDA. Still about 2% today, recovering pretty nicely from that sector-wide move to the downside on Tuesday.
That Adara. All right, man. We did it again on AAPL. We took 1620 out 30. Now I'm waiting 45s. Let's see if this one wants to weasel up. It's still putting in lower highs though, guys. So it's kind of building what I kind of perceive to be that bull flag. It doesn't look like much of a panic because we don't have the compression. That's why you scalp out right back into 1620. I'm still interested in adding at 16 if it continues to weasel down there. Let's keep an eye out on this one. SMCI coming right back down, but defending 49 for now. Underline that for now. I need to see it curl back up. Otherwise, this looks like it's going to manifest into the umbrella pattern. What are you looking at, Satea?
For sure. So right now I am looking at Nike. And so someone shouted out Nike in the chat, and I feel like this is a good opportunity to talk more about my bus stop level. So when I'm talking about bus stop levels, I'm looking at like extended levels that break out of a range. And so my bus stop level is this pre-market high here around 83.84. This was on Thursday, October 10th. And so why it's a level is because it's breaking through this range here. So 82.71, we have this break of this range here. I'm gonna make it orange. And so, yeah, so we broke that. So we have another range here. So we had this consolidation here from Thursday to now Wednesday, chop, chop, chop. Then we're getting above this level around 82.78. And then so my bus stop level here is 83.84, just because it's an extended part outside of the range. And so that's what I'm looking at, and that would be my target level for today as of right now, because sometimes I'm like, where's it gonna stop? You know, where's this bus gonna stop? And so it's definitely trickling up. I really like this trend to the upside, really nice. Hold above VWAP, never broke below VWAP at all today. So really nice look on that. What I really like, and I wish that I had some eyes on this, is I would have taken this above this pre-market high. So the pre-market high here was around 82.66. Really good look on that. Could have taken that around 10.30. And it looks really nice. Really liking the look of that. So Nike looking like a good long as of right now. And like I said, my bus stop level at this 83 mark. So looking really nice there. And then looking at this Intel, really nice. I'm glad that I got out of this Intel because we're having a little bit of choppy action at this day's high around this 2240. And so look, this is another part of my bus stop level. I like to take profits at the bus stop levels or even before because I want to see how it reacts. Once it gets to that bus stop level, I say, okay, do I want to continue on this bus or do I want to get off this bus? And so I got out of this bus, really want to see if it slams down, because what I'm looking at is like this downtrend here. So within the past, I guess it's only been a day, but since yesterday, it's been on this downward slope. And so on this downward slope, the significant level was around this 2239. And so I want to see how it reacts there. But as of right now, it's near those days highs. And so I want to see more conviction. I want to see some stronger long candles here. I want to see that on like the hourly chart. I want to see it stay above this trend line. If it breaks below this trend line, say 2220, 22, I'm not really liking this as of right now for the continuation of the long. But as long as it could hold above this trend line, just staying very, just bouncing off of it. So just notice how it touches it and it doesn't break below it. That's really what I want to see for the continuation up. But if there is a little bit of a pullback, I do expect it to come a little bit to VWAP at that even dollar level at $22. And so that is what I'm looking at on Intel. NVIDIA, let's see what NVIDIA is doing. NVIDIA, I like this for the long, but the thing is, like, this consolidation here, I want to make sure that it's holding above this level around this 133.70 mark. I don't want to see a break there. It's looking like, there's a tug of war. Who's winning, the Bulls or the Bears? And so it looks like, the Bulls are winning a little bit, but the thing is anything can change at this moment. And I don't want to see a break below this 133.70 because then we could see a little bit of a retracement to 133.35. Not necessarily saying that this is like a bearish look on the day, but just a little bust stop level that it could retrace to before we, make a pivotal move. And so that is what I am looking at. Someone's saying Tesla. So let's look at Tesla. Oh. Okay, Tesla. And we're going to Adara.
Looking like a bit of a bull flag here in the 15-minute chart for the Russell 2000 IWM. We mentioned earlier on the earlier version of this midday segment that there is a bit of a double top area of resistance we broke above with the higher low at 225 on this 15-minute chart. Still looking great here for the IWM, but let's see how this all unfolds. There's a lot of small caps to talk about today, but I wanted to talk about some of the less obvious names. We had a lot of those multiple 100% moves to the upside. Discussed those in the morning segment, including BDRX, which gave up a lot of the move. We also had STEC and ATNF, but right now let's talk about names like DUO. This is Fang DD is the name of this company. It's a Chinese ADR small cap. This has a bit of about a 7.8% short float. No news on this, but this one's getting a lot of volatility in tandem with these wild moves to the upside and downside in the Chinese ADR space, up about 40% right now. SMR definitely moved from its highs and curling into resistance here, but we had new scale and a lot of these other names in the nuclear space on watch after Amazon announced that it's leading a $500 million funding round for this nuclear project. So keep an eye on SMR. Great bounce here for LAC, which is just shy of a high of day here by a few percent. Still up about 20% here for LAC. This one is actually involved in a joint venture valued at $625 million with GM, General Motors, with regards to a project in Nevada. So LAC, good look here for Lithium Americas. If these or any other tickers are on your mind and you want to know what Obi and Sean have to say about them, you have an hour and 20 minutes left to vote for your ticker of choice in the midday chat, which is subscribers only. Just get in that chat, !join, space, $, and whatever ticker you're looking at.
There it is, guys. Join, space, space, $, and the ticker of your choice. Thank you for that again, Adara. But make sure you're typing it in right. Otherwise, Streamlabs gets not happy at all. Still scalping here on OKLO, dipped into 16, got in again, wet my beak there at 20s, still holding 06s. Let's see if we can work our way up a little bit, obviously, of a downtrend over here with lower highs and lower lows being put in place since this candle high over here at 1209, still above volume weighted average price, still above the 10 exponential. It's a good look. We're going to keep our eye on this one. I'm also still holding SMCI. It's above VWAP. I've moved up my stop to account for the latest pop up here, but I'd like to see this continue. Possibly through the $0.50. The reason I have my beak wetter there at 40 is to account for this area resistance level that I perceive to be resistance, acted as support to start the day. It breaks anything below 48.80. We're gonzino on this one. Yeah, I just wanted to mention one more ticker here. Yes, Wolf. You guys have been talking about Wolf, and it's been doing well. I mean, let's put some respect on this one's name. Let me just remove something from the side chart over here so I can get all the details on it. 17.83%. Respectful of the moving averages, mostly the 10. The deeper retracement went into the 20, but as you can see, it wicked below it, but no closing prints south of the 20. Now we're right back at that 10, 1650 high a day. You know, this one's not bad, but you're going to have to account for the fact that it breaches these moving averages and doesn't hold them strictly if you want to get in a dip trade. Otherwise, you're just going to have to take your shot in the dark about somewhere in between these moving averages or even below the 20, like maybe at around 16 possibly. A bit of a tough one to look at. It was very directional earlier. It's obviously lost a lot of that direction, but it did get a bit of a pop there at 11:45. The reason I haven't traded is because it's just not, not setting up in the exact way that I like. So I'm going to pack my patience, see if this one wants to become a bit more directional. I'll certainly jump in with you if it does. All right, doing well on Oklo here as we broke through the $0.25. Can we change some of this lower low, lower high situation that we've been doing on the 5? We've got resistance at 25 here, bit of a seller. There we go, taking him out into 27s. If we can curl possibly into that 50 penny area, we'll look to take some profits. Otherwise, just packing my patience. SMCI coming back down into 49. It's going to have to hold 48.80s. Otherwise, I want no smoke. It is looking to break down, though, south of the volume weighted average price. If that's the case, I'm not going to hold it. 48.86 is where I see VWAP over here. It's a 3 red candle setup now on the 5, but it's still above VWAP. So let's see what it does here, Satya.
Awesome. So someone's saying Apple, is moving. And so I still don't like it, to be honest. It bounced off of that day's low at 10 a.m. off of 229.85. I really wouldn't want to get involved until we break above here around 231.20 or this day's high at 232.13. I feel like those are more distinct levels to look at, as I don't want to get caught up in this action, because who knows, we could just chop and churn around all day. And so I want to make sure that I have that distinct type of move. And so you don't want to just waste your time. Your capital could go to better things. And so I definitely think just waiting for a more distinct move there would be a little bit better on Apple, just because it's not moving too much there.
You mean it's dead?
It's dead. It's the dead one, like you guys say. It is the dead one, to be honest. Like, not really doing much. And no, seriously. And so, you know what? Like, just leave it today. She may not be your friend today. Let her rest. Give her tomorrow a try and see what you do from there. But I definitely think that 232.15 or the break of this 229.87 is the levels that you want to look at before you get involved. Tesla, I'm looking at as well. This is kind of giving me the same kind of look. I don't like that we just have this range, haven't really broken above this high, 222.80s, or this low of 219. I do like the fact that we are kind of holding above this VWAP. Okay, I guess not holding above this VWAP, but it's around this VWAP. And typically, you know me, I would like to get in, around that VWAP level, but if I look at things as a whole, and I'm just looking at, this top and this bottom, there's not really a big, level that I'm looking at. Like, really, my levels for Tesla is 250 and 200. And I feel like because we're not at those levels yet, I don't really want to get involved, and we're just in this range. And so I don't really like that. I mean, it's not in my playbook. Maybe you can find a way to kind of weasel your way in and make some money. And I definitely think that is possible, but I don't have a good look on this personally. And so you'd have to do your homework on that one for yourself. So NVIDIA, what is NVIDIA doing? Okay, NVIDIA, you're coming up, you're trying to get to that high, but I just don't see that volume, to be honest. I think that kind of negative sentiment with ASML, yeah, I think it's ASML. Yeah, ASML.
Big mover.
I think that's kind of looming still. And so I don't think NVIDIA knows what it really wants to do. It was a really nice play in the morning, off of the open or after 10 a.m. for the nice bounce for the long. But as of right now, it's kind of chopping, it's kind of churning. Don't really like that as of right now. So I'm going to leave NVIDIA. I do love you, love to trade you. But, after 12:30, I don't know, just got to love you and leave you. Bye-bye. And what are you looking at, Sharif?
I just fat fingered into SMCI, took out the entire position. That's so frustrating. I added at 49s as it dipped into 49. I took out everything there as it got back into 49.20. That was a mistake. I meant to hold on a piece for the dream. It defended 49 quite well. Look at the last candle, the 5-minute candle off the volume weighted average price. Big boy hammer candle, and it's taking out the high of its previous 5-minute candle. There is a bit of a local resistance level, and by local, I mean holding up since we drop below it at 11.55. The resistance level, at least the way I see it, 49 1/3, 49.33s. This is the level right here we couldn't break last time. And look at that. Oh, wow. Former support flipped to resistance. Where have I read that before? Oh, every other TA textbook ever. No, seriously though, look at this. We have an obvious area of support earlier. Now we're coming right back into that area on a 2-attempt basis, unable to break it. The other side of that coin is the bullish side of that coin is we're putting in higher lows. So buyers are becoming more exuberant as the price action develops, that they're buying it up at higher and higher levels. That's what I take from higher lows. So we're right back at that resistance level now. 33s on the bid, 35s on the ask, and we dip down again. I'm going to get in at 20. If it wants to come back down into 49s because I fat fingered, I'm going to get back in. Let's put it at 05s to front run the level. So we'll see what we get with this one. SMCI has been a good one for me today, man, and we're going to keep trading it. But there is this resistance level I want to see. If we take 49.40, or like that general area to account for this initial area of support, what's the move here? Do I wait for it to break through that level, then wait for it to come back to retest what I perceive to be resistance and then get it in? Or do I punch long through the break of that level? That's always the question I ask myself. So we'll pack our patience, see what SMCI has given us on the day. OKLO, oops, sorry about that. OKLO, we got out of that boy profitable on this one again as it weaseled into 40s. We took it at 16 again. 2 ads on 16 over here. Right at, sorry, I didn't take it out at 40s. I took it out at 35s, my mistake. And now it's kind of hovering at 30s. What concerns me about OKLO, it's got a lot going for it right now. It's been holding the 10 very well. It's defended 16 very well, but now we're talking about lower highs and lower lows almost for 40 minutes now. It's setting up possibly as a bull flag, right? As your initial, you have one bull flag over here, second bull flag over here, and there's the other one. Let's see if the third time is a charm and whether it continues or not, or this is the area where we give it up. Never really know until it happens. So gonna keep those on watch. It's what I've been trading today. I was just talking to Gaurav in the chat, and he was telling me about Meta, and I told him the same thing I told the Katina man. I haven't even looked at the Mag 7 today. Haven't charted the future. There is just too much in small cap world going on, and a whole lot of, I don't know, sideways chop for some of these Mag 7s. I know some of them are moving, like goggles, you know, 165.80 dips down into 164. Good move, decent. Obviously, the bigger moves, I feel, though, were in the morning show when we had that big drop on a lot of the Mag 7 names. But look what Apple's been doing. I mean, Apple just sold off right at the bell. Someone was offloading a storm at the bell from basically 235. You could tell someone was offloading this in the pre-market as well. They didn't even wait till the bell. 8 a.m., we got that big dip. And then 9:20, we really started there selling from basically 233.50 all the way down and holding 230. There's obviously a trade to be had here at 230. Yeah, it can print. I mean, this is decent. This is a very well-defended level on Apple at 230. We did technically breach it very momentarily right at 10 a.m. 229.84 is the technical low of the day, but look where the close was on that candle that breached it, 230.36. So the closing prints all above 230. What's the other side of the coin? The resistance. Well, VWAP. For the most part, you do have some outliers over here, like this 5-minute candle, 11:10, and the other one at 11:15, and even that one at 11:20. So I had a 3-candle setup there. That all breached VWAP, but look what it did right after. Dipped, tested VWAP again, dipped. So there's obviously a range to be had today to play on Apple. If that's your style, have at it, right? I don't mind picking up something at 230. I just didn't really, notice it. All right, what's going on over here? I just saw some flickering. Uh-oh. When you get flickering. Okay, so we're long again here on SMCI. Again, Katina, man, and we're going to wet our beak here on some profits. Let's see if we can get it as this one dips in. And again, it defends 49. Man, I'm loving this. Let's see if we didn't fat finger this time.
Yeah.
So, I know. It's like just shock when I don't fat finger. I suck. No, seriously, I'm going to look to defend on this one into 48.80. As I mentioned, it's coming down now, but it's still defending 49. If we can get something at the $0.50, that'd be fantastic, but I am cognizant of that 40-penny resistance today.
Looking like a good trade. Hope you print on that.
Appreciate you.
As of right now, I'm looking at DJT. I like this for the short. I feel like we kind of have this distinct top here around 30.44 and 30.45. I would say, like, if you're trying to, get in for this short, I would say giving it to those highs around 30.50, 30.53. I definitely think that that is a good risk level to give it. We are currently at 29.88, and I definitely think it can get to VWAP or at least $29 at that even dollar level. That's kind of my bus stop level that I'm looking at, risking those highs. So DJT looking like you're flushing a little bit, and so that's what I like. And what I really like about this too is that I kind of see this consolidation here on the 1 minute. And so I want to see a break below this 29.80 in order for more confirmation for this short. If I do see a break below there, I'm definitely looking to the downside on that one. And so Netflix, someone was saying, is it looking like a short? And so it does look pretty ugly. It's been, trending down since Friday. Let's look on a higher time frame. Yeah, since Friday, it's looking pretty ugly and bearish there. What I'm really looking at, though, is I wouldn't necessarily get involved. Okay, so I'm going to go long short right at 700. I want to see what it does at that $700 level, just because it is that psychological level. And so if we can hold that 700, definitely, maybe we can see a bounce there. But if we break below 700, then we could possibly go to the downside. Another section that I'm looking at for the short is possibly up here around 708.50. just because it's within kind of this trend range. And so I think that you want to see what it does at this level. Don't jump your horses and get in necessarily, but look at what it does at that level. If you're seeing a lot of selling action, 708.50, and it's not even printing 50s, say it's printing 49s, and it's just you're seeing a lot of resistance at that level, then I would definitely pay attention to that. As of right now, I wouldn't necessarily get involved just because we kind of do have this tight range here. But I am looking at 708.50 or the break of 700 for pivotal level. And then also to Intel, you know, it's trickling up. It's not necessarily having a lot of volume there, but it does look like it's really fighting to go higher. And it's slowly but surely getting there. And so I really like that. Giving it, you know, even 45 cents, it's 45 cents from VWAP. So I definitely think that, you know, if you give it that, that is like some good room to give it. But that's my look on that. How about you, Sharif?
We got to pay some bills.
Pay some bills.
All right. And the Chilean nightmare has been counting down in my ear. So imagine trading with someone else's capital instead of your own. That's what it means to be a funded trader at Trade the Pool. And this is how it works. You complete the evaluation program by meeting the profit targets. Once you succeed, you trade the Pool's capital, which gives you the ability to trade with up to $260,000 in buying power. The best part is you keep up to 80% of the profits while the firm takes all the risk. It's literally the ultimate way to trade, whether you're a beginner or professional trader. So go on and check out tradethepool.com. I went over to their website and it looks awfully promising. Scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen or click the link in the description for more information. I got to shout out Mitch, man. Mitch came on yesterday from Trade the Pool. He knows his stuff. I hope we have him back because he was dropping some hot lines, and I like the way that he was speaking about TA and stuff like that. So shout out to Mitch. If you missed that, he was on the morning show yesterday with Brendo. So go back and, yeah, it's a beautiful thing about YouTube, man. You can go back and watch whatever you want. All right, we're still in SMCI over here, looking at this 49 level. I set up my beak wetter at the $0.25, and it's been doing it's been holding the level, quite frankly. But it's a consolidation trade now. I'm not really looking at it as a breakout trade anymore. That is, unless we can get above this 49.40. The levels that we've rejected twice and the level that we kind of predicted would act as resistance, seeing as it acted as support earlier. So let's let that cook. If it wants to break down below 49, let it cook, says Fabian. We're going to let that do its thing, 21. Now, Apple. We were waxing poetic, to use an Adara term, about this 230 level, but we also yapped about VWAP, which right now my chart's sitting at 230.77. Well, look where the price action is. We're curling into VWAP. Is there a trade to be had here? This time, obviously, to the short side. Well, previous attempts at VWAP would suggest yes, but they would also suggest that the level is not strictly adhered to. It is breached. You need to account for that if you're going to get short on VWAP, because we have these two outliers over here. You're going to need to account for that in terms of your stop placement, in terms of your entry as well. So I'm going to be watching Apple over here, possibly try to take a short on this bad boy as it ranges for the better part of the day. How long it ranges for and when that range gives way, your guess is as good as mine. We'll keep an eye on volume possibly as some of the, possibly an indicator there. So that's all I'm looking at the moment. SMCI, still working my way into this trade. Let's see what Oklo is doing. Oklo right back into 16. Do we add here? I'm not going to add here again, man. This is like the umpteenth time that it's come in and try to, you know, break down through 16. It's just, I don't know. I'm just speculating here. It's probably just a matter of time until that level gives way. We've been putting in lower lows and lower highs, as I said, since 12:10. It's 12:51 now, so almost an hour worth of churn there. So SMCI, the only position I'm in right now, interested on Apple, waiting to see where this one prints a red candle. Subsequent to that red candle closing, then we'll weasel into this trade. NVIDIA is moving, Katina, man. It's about 15 pennies from the high of the day. The monster NVIDIA is on the move. Long? He's long from the morning, so he's printing on it. That's kind of all you need to know about that. $2 in the dang money on NVDA. I apologize for the wicks. I'll have that cleaned up in a skosh, but we know that we rejected 134.78, and then as quickly as we touched that 78 level at 134, we touched it at 132. So it dropped $2 like that off the rejection at 134.78, which came in, I believe, at 10:30. So AMD looking like it's curling up here. It's a bit of a better, look, not a bit of a better, it's much better of a chart pattern than any of these Mag 7 names. To the long side, of course, you have some weakness that you can obviously trade as well, but this is the look right now. NVDA has been putting in higher lows and higher highs since the IB low that we put in at 945, which touched 131.58. Oh, I wonder what that level is. Oh, I know. It's the closing print from yesterday. I love that. I love technical analysis. It never fails. It's always sound and it's 100% predictable. No, I'm kidding. I've been feeling quite sarcastic lately. That's how I'm feeling. What are you looking at over there?
Yes. Someone said APPS in the chat. This looks like this looks ugly to me personally, but I am curious as to what you think of this chart. APPS. See, someone said, what do you? Yeah, right?
What is that, the 5?
Yeah, the 5 minute.
Look how lightly that's traded.
Yeah.
Where's the volume on this?
Yeah, there's no volume. Robe EV, what do you think? Nice rounded bottom, 5 minute. I'm looking for a break above VWAP. I mean, it's trickling up, but for a day trade, to be honest, this is like super boring. Just look at those lines. Like, it's not even a candle, it's just a line. There's not a lot of volume there. And so that would just be my red flag for this one as of right now. You might be sitting here all day waiting for, something to happen. And so I don't know, I could be wrong, but I just don't see anything crazy happening as of right now. Yeah, I want to see it. For the long, I would have rather it made like a move like this where it just stayed above VWAP like from the morning and just continued to trek up. But as of right now, we're going to have to see a lot of volume for it to really, if it does break VWAP, you want to make sure that it's staying above VWAP. Like, you don't want it to just get to 350, for example, and then, stand there for a little bit and then break down below VWAP again. And so not looking too good there on APPS. So another thing, someone's saying Boeing, ew, what are you doing, Boeing? Like, what is this? I mean, liquidity grabbed around 151.65, went up, came down, and it looks like it's just doing a little bit of a landing here again here.
Oh,
and
boy.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we try to test this 150 mark, to be honest.
We got something for you, Satya.
Yeah.
Oh, not that.
Oh.
See them in? Look at this one.
Oh.
This is Boeing-esque.
Yeah.
That's Boeing-esque right there.
Yeah, they're very, very indicative. Yeah, that's definitely what it looks like it's doing as of right now. It's just crash landing, not looking too good there. I don't know what to do with this one, to be honest, because if it stayed above VWAP, maybe I would be confident in the long just because it made this liquidity grab, but it came down, try to break above and stay above VWAP, then it just banged down around 153.45. I don't know. I don't really like this, to be honest. I mean, I'd want to see what it does for me distinctly. Like, I'd want to see what it does at 150 for a true, because I don't want to get faked out. This thing could just go up and down and move around and around. And so I'm not trying to get, caught up in that. And so that's what I'd really look at. Or this stays low. If we can stay above that, then maybe, I could, get involved in the long. But I don't really like it, to be honest. I don't like the look of it at all. How about you, Sharif?
I'm looking at Apple here, Satay, because it's breaking above VWAP and it's on the way to 231. It certainly hasn't taken out the local high. That would be around 15. The only really question I'm asking myself, is there a marked change coming on this market? We are now essentially flat on the NQ December contract. We're down 0.09%. The break-even point is 20,342. We're breaking through 25. So 42 the break-even. We're at 25s right now. And on top of that, we're putting in what looks to be like an ascending wedge on the future. Higher low, higher low, higher low with a flat top in and around where we are right now, give or take. You could use this area as your flat top, the 42, or this area, because we had so many candle rejections over here at 40s. So the future looks like it's on the way up, man. I don't know if it's going to end up going green, or we're going to have basically a red to green day, or what the situation is. Nvidia is at day's high. Apple's breaking into 231 right now. Goggles wants to work back into the volume weighted average price. Softies putting in higher lows, a symphony of higher lows off that 410.50 hold, and now we're at 415, so good recovery for the soft one. AMZN's dead. Meta and Amazon, no go. Meta's trying to work back into VWAP here, still about $1 away. And that's normal for Meta. Meta has been a rocket ship. You know, there's going to be some profit taking, and, you know, some just a time where it just doesn't go up in a straight line. So anyway, I'm watching the future here, man, because this is looking like if we're going to short, this will be, you know, a fantastic top. You know, we always dream of catching tops and bottoms, and here we go. So we're moving up nicely here on the futures. I'm just unsure of, you know, is this a decided reversal in the Mag 7, or is just a short to pop kind of situation? I don't know. I'm going to keep my eye on Apple. Great, another dark pool showed up over here. So we're going to have distorted charts for a minute until I can fix that. So 231, we're zigging and zagging right now on Apple, but I'm not going to get short here because the future is still showing me a green candle and looking to go green right now. I'm not trying to, you know, equate the future and Apple, but, you know, this is the largest component of the NASDAQ 100, I believe, anyway. They may have to reweight that. I think NVIDIA was bigger. Adara, what do you got for us?
Some context on that recent move in Boeing. We had a bit of a double top and then fell here about almost $2 here. On a wick basis, we fell more than $2 for BA. Reuters here reporting that the company is looking to raise about $15 billion through common shares and a convertible bond amidst its ongoing strike, and also noted that it's apparently considering this $25 billion stock and debt sale, as well as securing this credit loan. The thing is that with this Reuters report, this was actually previously filed by Boeing as of yesterday morning. So this Reuters report moving the stock, but this news was actually known as of yesterday morning. We already had some analysts and some credit rating agencies like Fitch and S&P comment on this Boeing decision as of yesterday with regards to its $25 billion financing. They also filed for both the financing and the $10 billion credit as of yesterday morning. So just some context on that Boeing move as it pushes back up. That was not a news story from Reuters, kind of a summary of things we've seen filed from Boeing over the last 2 days, guys.
The Katina man is now long AMD at VWAP, guys, and he's holding NVIDIA from 132.18. That is a morning trade. We're going 132.85, excuse me. He's been holding that for the majority of the day. We're going to shout out the Katina man, and he's taking AMD long off the volume weighted average price. Good look right now. Let's shout out the Katina man and wish him the best of luck on his prints there. I'm still looking at Apple. It's now taken 231. It's now above the volume weighted average price. It's now above the 50 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. I'm not going to get caught, you know, taking this short. I need to see something different, but I'm just so short bias on the day. Here we go. Now we got in to break even level on the future, and now we're kind of putting in a bit of a topping tail candle. As I mentioned to you guys, 20,342 is the break even point on the NQ December contract. We used it in the pre-market as support, but once we gave way, look how funny support flips to resistance. Fabian's laughing in a way that I think he's not genuine. But here we go. We're going to try to take a short here on the dead one, Apple. Come what may, man. We're going to give this, we have to pack our, we have to give this a little bit of room here, knowing the bamboozlement could be fast and furious today. So I'm going to send it to you while I put my stops.
For sure. So as of right now, I took a little bit of a scalp on NVIDIA off of the day's high. And so a little bit of a scalp. I got in at 134.85, and then I got out at 93s. So got in and out within that 1 minute candle. Really like that. I like the fact that I got out of that because it wicked here a little bit at 135. And so just a little quick scalp there. You know, I definitely think that it could, hold from up there, but I just didn't want to get caught up in that. And so really like that, really nice curvature there. And I want to see a hold of that 134.80 to really, for the continuation of the long. But that looks really nice as of right now. Another thing that I was looking at is the SPY. I find when NVIDIA moves, the SPY also kind of moves in the same kind of fashion. Same kind of look here. I'm looking at this 581.18 kind of dip buy. Want to see what it does from there. I would probably be risking around 580.80. But I want to see what it does at this level, because if I see a strong candle down, probably on the 15-minute, I'm not really liking it. And we have something. Adair is going to talk to us.
We're going to take a look here at the crypto this afternoon here at 1 p.m. Lots of strength in a lot of these miners. COIN, MARA, RIOT, MSTR, all on watch, of course. And again, if these are any other tickers or names that you're interested in having analyzed it at 2 p.m. during the rundown, just put them in the chat, exclamation point, join space, $, and the ticker of choice. For now, though, BTC here still failing to eclipse in a salient way this double top resistance just above 68,000. We're talking around 68.2 on the daily chart, but of course, still a great move to the upside for BTC. It is worth noting, too, this comes as Tesla actually makes its first BTC transaction after a 2-year hiatus. Apparently, it has transferred its entire Bitcoin stash, valued over $760 million, to multiple new wallet addresses, which is causing just some speculation that the company may be selling some of its Bitcoin. So TSLA actually was the 4th largest Bitcoin holder of publicly traded U.S. companies. It's only behind MSTR, MARA, and Riot. So keep an eye here on crypto and TSLA with regards to that potential Bitcoin sale, or at least movement of its BTC stash. Now, it's also worth noting here, a lot of other strength as we have crypto reach its highest level, Bitcoin reached its highest level since July. We saw a lot of other names piggybacking off that move. One of them is Dogecoin. This one up here looks like around 7% as of right now. Nice, curly or slightly higher low. And we're coming now into previous resistance at this point, 1278 area. So let's see if we're able to, if it's going to be a double top or if we're able to eclipse this area. This is also interesting here. The area that we're currently pausing is a bit of a support resistance area from mid to late July. So let's see what happens here for Doge and for crypto. Should be an interesting day, guys.
Got stopped out of Apple as it did break 231.20, but now I'm actually looking at getting back in over here. I don't know, man. I think like this was like a specialist breakout. We'll see exactly what the situation is. A bit of a, I don't want to say a topping tail, but we did breach the 50 exponential on the 5. We'll see what we get here. What are you looking at, Satya?
For sure. I want to take a look at Apple as well. I want to see what you're looking at. Yeah, it is approaching that level that I was looking at, that 231.20. You're looking for longs, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to see what it does at that level. Probably want to see the candle close above this 231.17 level. Want to see maybe 2 3-minute candles above this level. Looks pretty decent for the long, though. I can't hate you for wanting to try that there. NVIDIA looks like it's struggling a little bit with this 135.08. Might retrace a little bit as of right now. I don't know. Maybe we could see a pullback, 134.32. Still looks like it still wants to go to the upside. Upside, yes, for sure. And yeah, I definitely see that as of right now. It is struggling a little bit. I don't think it's going to give you that strong green, conviction candle, but I definitely think it is trickling up to the upside for sure. SPY, kind of the same kind of deal. Still looking at that 581.20 for a possible pullback there, but I still am convicted in the long for this as well. Going back to DJT, hasn't got up to this 45 level as of yet. I feel like if it really wanted to go higher, it would have done so already, to be honest. It bounced off of 29.68, but I feel like because it rejected once, twice, and then it's coming down here. OB thrice, it's coming down. And so I'm definitely more convicted with the break of this level here, 29.74, but it is kind of holding above here still. But I do want to see the break of 29.74 and between 29.74 and 67s, a break of that. I'm definitely still looking for a short to the VWAP level, not necessarily at, oh yeah, a little bit at it. Maybe if you wanted to take profits, maybe 29.06, a little bit above VWAP, just to make sure that you get that fill. But I'm looking pretty short on DJT. I really like it, even though it is an uptrend. I just feel like this distinct 30-45 just gives you a definitive out. And so I like that better for the short rather than the long. Just a little bit of a scalp, but it is on an uptrend, but definitely think there is an opportunity there for DJT. And then someone said Moderna, something about hating Moderna. I never really liked this stock, to be honest. It is kind of chopping and churning. We had this high here around 58.45. Then we had this low here around 57.29. It's been, chopping from 10.24 to now. So it's around 107. And so don't really like this as of right now. Really want to see a distinct move below this a day's low, 57.30. For the short, but I don't know. I don't really like the look of it, to be honest. I feel like without news, this is kind of a scary stock to get into for the day trade. So don't like that. Ew. UAL, still, I really like this 70-60 level still. I don't have my order on it as of right now. I definitely want to see what it does at this level. Can we get it? Can we not? I really hope so, because I feel like this is a good bounce level that we can get for the continuation of the long. Don't really want to get involved here just because I feel like it can move against you a little bit. Get better prices. Get in at 70-60s, 70-50s. I think those are a little bit better because it's a bounce of this local high here. And then someone saying, Satya going to try DJT short. We will help you lose money.
What?
I mean, listen, it's not for a long time. I'm a scalper. I'll get it. As soon as I'm in the money, I'm out of there, right?
Hey.
And so it's just a little bit. But this level is fighting 29.74. But if it breaches, I don't think I'll be losing money, but I don't know. We'll see who wins in this case. We could both win. Not to say I'm right, you're right. Anyone could be right in this market, right?
Yeah, man.
And so, it's just how long are you in the trade? What is your stop losses? Where's your take profits? And I feel like that matters most than, definitive. It's a long, it's a short. I don't really believe in that, to be honest. We could all make money, And so that is what I believe in. Havana Woody saying mRNA is not a trading zone till it gets a new fake news monkeypox. No, honestly, I feel that. And so definitely I feel like until that news really comes out, it's just moving. And so I don't really like that. No, I know we're having fun there.
Yeah.
No, Lake South, we don't take anything seriously here. Definitely laughing with you there. And so that is what I'm looking at. How about you, Sharif?
I'm worried. I took Apple short. I did well on it here. We added to this position from 12s. I took it out at 11s, took it out at 95s. But now I'm thinking it's a long. I'm going to wait for this candle to close. It's got 1 minute left. It's a bit of a hammer candle, a red hammer candle, albeit it's above VWAP and above the 50 exponential. Profit monsters in the chat just asked me why I took it out, and I thought I'd answer that. Look at this, profit monsters. Look, man, if it makes a new high above 29, oh, baby. I mean, 231.29. I think that we have something here with the dead one. We know NVIDIA's at day high. NVIDIA's pumping here, 135.17. It's taking out the high right now. Tesla's at VWAP. I'm not trying to equate Apple and NVIDIA on the day. They are certainly not the same. However, if, we had, let's see, on the 5-minute chart, let's count this together over here. I just don't want to spend too much time looking at this because I might miss my entry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 green candles, 1 red hammer candle with a bottoming tail, and now this is green. So if we break above this level over here, I'm talking about 231.40, I'm super interested in going long on Apple, especially with how it defended that 230 level. We'll see. I don't need to be first. I just need to see whether it breaks this level or not. If it does, I'm biased that we at least move up a little bit. Where to, I have no idea. Obviously, the level that I'd ideally like to get to is that 232.75, that bottom end consolidation that we put in the pre-market there before the selling started coming in fast and furious there at 920. We were already selling, to be fair, at 810. We dropped below 234. We got down to below 233 at that time. So it's dipping back right now, 231. So maybe I'm wrong about this Apple trade. In either way, I'm going to pack my patience because now that I'm fixated on it, I should be able to execute a little bit better. Because we didn't really look at any of the Mag 7s today. We were trading these small cap gappers. So we're coming back into 231. We're still well above the low of the previous 5-minute candle, which takes us to 230.90. So let's see what we do. If we hold above the previous candle low on the 5, it's bullish, but here it comes, man, dipping into the mid to high 90s right now, breaking below 231. So did I get out of my short too quick? Maybe Profit Monsters was right. Maybe he was right. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you just don't know in these markets, but I know that we're negative on the future still. We rejected yesterday's closing print. We're coming right back down to 20,322. We've been dancing above VWAP here with Apple, but we've got a couple of red candles. So I don't know. I don't know, Satya. It's a bit of a tougher day for these Mag 7s today, maybe for me anyway, but it looks like, the best trade on the Mag 7 was that initial, opening range drop. And that was
the main trade. For sure. So as of right now, I'm looking at Bitcoin, a little bit change in pace. And so I wanted to touch upon Bitcoin because I feel like with Trump and his World Liberty Financial, him coming out with that coin, I feel like it is very interesting for the rest of crypto, especially Bitcoin, because when people are trying to buy these coins, a lot of the time it funnels through Bitcoin and Ethereum first. So I know that with ShakePay, you have to buy either Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then you can move the coins onto KuCoin, where you have like a longer list of coins. And so Bitcoin and Ethereum typically is like the base currency before you start to get into other altcoins. And so I find that with this World Liberty Financial, coin kind of getting traction, I definitely think that it's a good look for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so I definitely think that there is going to be some increased volatility there, just because, like I said, you have to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum a lot of the time and then funnel in for those altcoins. What I really like is the bounce off of that 60,000 pretty much of Bitcoin. I definitely think that was a pivotal level for crypto as of right now. Really like that. We had this wick here on August 5th. This is on the one-day chart to around 49,000. And then we had that bounce and we're on our way up. We do have resistance here around 72,778. I definitely think it can get up there with the steam with the World Liberty. Definitely think it can bring more people into the crypto market. And definitely a really good look at that. I definitely think if we can hold 60,000, Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto is looking really bullish as of right now. On the weekend, I feel a little bit foolish. I was trying to short Ethereum just because I felt like there would be like some lower volume because it was Thanksgiving, and so I thought, who would be trading crypto around this time? And so I think it was Sunday. I tried to go short, didn't work out. Really bad look there. But that 60,000 really holding up, and I really think that it can catch some steam and go to the upside. Upside, yes. Can we hit that 75? Can we hit that 80,000? I definitely think that it's a good look. I find around this time, we call it like October.
Oh.
And so, yeah.
Excuse me. I just had to do that.
Yes, October. And I definitely believe in that because around this time when I initially got into crypto, this is when like the big meat of like my portfolio was like really in profit around this time. So I love this time. It's a great time. And so between now and December, I definitely think that if you're trying to get into crypto, right now is a really good time to get in. Don't be the person that gets in January when it's at 80, 85, 90, and you're like, it's time to buy a Bitcoin. No, you're too late now. Stop. You should have got in now. So this is the time. Do your research. Don't just throw your money at it. Do your research. Figure out what decentralized finance is. Figure out how to read the charts and get into it. It's a really good time, guys.
I love how you just threw that DeFi word out there, man. That's so important. Decentralized finance, guys. Big topic. Thank you for bringing that up, Satya. The crypto queen doing the absolute most in a great way. We're going to keep an eye out, obviously, on crypto. It's like my biggest mistake I feel that I've made in the markets in a long time. not having been in IBIT once they launched, right? Or even not just in IBIT, but prior to that. Like, I mean, we had Kevin O'Leary on in December last year, and he was like, oh, Gary Gensler is never going to allow crypto under the current regulation, or spot ETF, I mean, under the current regulation. And then he kind of biased me in one way. And so when it came out, or I wasn't anticipating that it was going to come out, and so I wasn't really buying Bitcoin, nor did I involve myself in the launch of the ETF. So I always feel like that was a mistake.
Do you feel safer to invest in the ETFs rather than Bitcoin itself? Like, why wouldn't you rather hold it? Because that's what decentralized finance is. It's for you
to know the truth?
Yeah.
Because IBKR doesn't allow me to buy crypto directly in Canada, although they give you data for it. And so I didn't want to create an entirely different account like with Coinbase or I think we have Binance still in Ontario.
No.
It left? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. And so I wanted to keep all like the money in one area. And so I was like, okay, I'll just get into IBIT because then it gives me direct access through my brokerage. So not a great excuse, but that was honestly the reason.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Just keeping it all in one place, that makes sense. With those brokerages though, you don't actually own the coin. Did you know that though?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got to have it on the hard wallet, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this. You remember when we had the trucker demonstration a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
With called the Freedom Convoy. I don't know if you guys heard about it in the South. We had truckers basically real angry about the COVID restrictions up in this place. There was aggressive COVID restrictions during the time. And so they made a big deal about it.
Yeah.
And then you remember they were passing money to each other to kind of do their thing 21, right? And so they started sending crypto to each other because they didn't want to send it through the banks. And what did the government do? They invoked the Emergencies Act, which is like our version of martial law. And they seized crypto accounts on Coinbase, but the people who were sending it through hard wallets,
they got away.
They got away, right? Mm-hmm. So I legit agree with you. You got to keep it on the hard wall. Obviously, it's not as convenient, but it's
not.
more secure.
But that's what it's for, though. Decentralized finance. It's really for you to take hold of your own finances, and that's why you should have a little piece. If it's not like a big portion, at least a little bit. Just so you could be flexible.
I agree. All right, we're still in this trade on Apple. I'm going to give this one to about VWAP, but the future is coming back down, and I see a bit of a topping tail candle right now on NVIDIA. Why am I looking at NVIDIA if I'm trading Apple? Well, we're going to give, we're looking at the futures in general and how they're trading at the moment. So going to give this a little bit more room over here on AAPL. If it breaks, that 75 penny area, that's where we're going to cut it there. So we're going to have to pack our patience and see what we get with AAPL. There we go. We'll put that place. It looks like it will break through the volume weighted average price. So sucks to be me as we topping tail on the future and then turn right back down. So it looks like Apple was a short after all, and I had the idea to right, but I flipped long, and now it looks like it's going to break against me. Softy on the way down, Meta on the way down, Amazon on the way down. Tesla's not, nor is Google, nor is NVIDIA. So it's a mixed bag today with some of these Mag 7 names are not all trading in the same way. So if you're going to trade them, keep a different, make sure you are charting specifically the instrument that you're trading. Don't be a schmuck like me and try to execute on Apple and chart on the future. Looks like this one will break down, sadly. So we're going to have to pack our patience, see whether we get stopped out or whether this one wants to curl back off the volume weighted average price today.
A few hours since we talked about this name, DRUG. This is Brightmind Biosciences. Went from down about 20% to now down about 14%. So gaining about 6% in the last minute or so here, getting two of its largest volume candles of the day to the upside. There has been this filing coming through here with the SEC, a 13G filing here by Joseph Edelman, who is actually the CEO and hedge fund manager of this Perceptive Advisors or Perceptive Life Sciences Group. What they do is they're a hedge fund specifically in the healthcare space. So Joseph Edelman and his fund have reported a 9.6% passive stake in Brightminds that consists of 430,000 shares, and that is as of October 14th, 2024. So some of that move we had, of course, starting on Monday, which would be the 14th, could potentially be correlated to this buying of a 9.6% stake in the company. Details with regards to Bright Sciences or DRUG, for those who do not remember or have missed it because the market caps is changing pretty constantly. Right now, they're at $124.6 million market cap, in 35.5% insider owned, so that is not insignificant. We also have a 2.88 million share float and a short float of 3%. Again, Joseph Edelman and his hedge fund having now a 9.6% stake, guys.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Yeah, drug, the big small cap gapper from yesterday. And Brenda was telling me off camera this morning some of the pictures that, or some of the trades that were being posted on Twitter. A lot of people lost like 5 figures trying to short that thing yesterday.
Which one?
Drug, D-R-U-G.
Oh.
Yeah. Funny enough, it's a Vancouver-based company, and they deal in psilocybin. Not really shocked. So we'll keep an eye out on drug. Thank you for that, Adair. Rob EV wants me to have a look at ATNF, $8 level. He says, yes, this one we've been keeping an eye on all day, yesterday and today. It's been in play both days. ATNF, good look right now. Well, not right now, actually. It was good look earlier. This one ran up over 1,000%. But look, Rob, I got to tell you, I have a rule that I don't take these as a breakout trade if they're trading south of the volume weighted average price. So it's really going to have to get above that 10.25 and stay above 10.25 for me to base any trades off it. I like the range that it's doing right now. It seems to have some support at 8.5, 8.25, with a bit of a top in the 9 2/3. If you want to play it that way, have at it. It's a bit riskier. I like when these ones get their footing under them. They got momentum. They're headed in the right direction, and I'm able to basically take it off a key area of support. But right now, Rob, I got to tell you, the best move for this one, at least for now, maybe it changes later in the day, what is behind it, right? With that almost $19 touch. I think we got to $18.93 or so. So good look for ATNF, but yeah, it was a strong move earlier. Let's see if it wakes up. If it wants to get above VWAP and stay above VWAP, I'll trade it, as long as it's not halting to no end, right? So that's the look there. Back in Apple at 77s, looking at looking at taking profits, in front of the whole dollar level. A bit of a invert, or you have a hammer hit candle forming off the volume weighted average price right now. It's green, so if this area wants to hold as support, fantastic. Let's see if it wants to weasel up a little bit more. We're almost 20 pennies in the money on this one. Haven't taken anything out yet. Larger position for me here, so I will wet my beak here. Oh, I won't. There we go, and we'll wet our beak there. We'll take that one off. We'll see if this one wants to run through 231. If we can get above 231, I'm all eyes and ears above that $0.33 level. That is the local high. 231.30 was the best we could do on our last ascent above 231. So let's pack our patience, see what we get. What are you looking at, Satea?
For sure. So I'm looking at Intel as of right now. So we have a little bit of a break of the trend here. So we have this, distinct long going up to the upside, and then on the 3-minute we have it broke this level 2248, 2250, and so we see a little bit of a break there. So not necessarily to say it's going completely obliterated and then to the downside, but I definitely think that we can see a little bit of a bounce there. Where I want to see the bounce is around 2227. Definitely think that that is where I want to see it, and we're going to Adara.
We're going to take a look here at BHP. This company is in the mining space. Reports here coming from the Financial Times that its chief executive here has apparently visited South Africa, which is having people think that this company could be pursuing a bid for Anglo American, which is another miner. Once again, this company withdrew its bid for Anglo back in late May 2024. They were looking to pursue the company for $49 billion. But now, based on this Financial Times report, it seems like there could be some speculation that BHP could be interested in Anglo American once again. So keep an eye on this stock. Big volume candle to the downside, down about 1% right now, guys.
Oof, yeah, Chilean Nightmare letting you know exactly what he thinks of that stock. BHP, not a good look there. We'll load that one up in a hot second, still dealing with this trade. But you were saying something before we went to Adara.
Yes, I was looking at Intel, and I want to see a little bit of a bounce there. Not necessarily, I don't think it's going to be a true reversal where we're bearish, but I definitely think a little bit of a pullback is needed because there was no steam to let out. It was just going up to the upside. And so we need to let it breathe for a little bit. And so I definitely think that a little bit of a pullback, 22.27 to 22.25 is definitely an area where we might see a little bit of a bounce there. But I definitely think there is a continuation to the upside on Intel. So definitely looking at that. And then DJT, it is fighting with this level that I was looking at. This 29.76 came down, would have taken it, off of there, but didn't get the chance to. We're talking about crypto, but I still definitely think that this is still a short. We still didn't get above that 30.45 level, and so I still think that that is a good, nice out for you to get out if you're going for the short. Still think that my take profit level is around 29.08, 29.06. Definitely think that that is very reasonable. I find that, so with my bus stop level as well, like it doesn't always go to just like the previous candles, but also even dollar levels. So because we're at 29.74, my two bus stop levels are 30 and 29. And so depending on what they do at those levels is what I'm looking at. But because we're, below this $30 level, I think my bus stop level is still that 29.06. I definitely think we can get to that $29, but because of I haven't been getting filled recently, so 29.06 is probably, I feel like, a nice level that I can get filled at. But looking pretty good for the short. This is not necessarily in my play to get in as of right now, but I still think that it is possible for you to get in for the short. And then NVIDIA is just blasting higher. Wow. Wow, I should have held that. I'm really sad about not holding that because that is my play. The break of the pre-market, the break of the high of the day. And so I feel like I was a little bit deterred from it just because it didn't show me like very strong candles. It was just like small candles that went up, a couple of pennies, like 10, 15 pennies at a time on the 3-minute chart. And so I wanted to see like a bigger candlestick, but I feel like it gave us enough confirmation. I saw this kind of bottom here or consolidation here, which I really liked. It was above VWAP, consolidated above VWAP, and then continuation for the long. And so I wish I held that, but it is what it is. NVIDIA, I'll get you tomorrow. And then looking at Apple, I still, like, this level is very interesting. We both keep looking at this level, this 231.15. I feel like the volume is the issue. I feel like it's not even the price action, it's just the volume. It's doing everything that we wanted to do. It's holding above VWAP. It has a little bit of this consolidation here above VWAP. But we just need to see that volume, and I don't think we're getting that as of right now. I feel like with my trading, a lot of the time I'll get levels right, but I struggle with like going long or short at that particular level sometimes, right? And so I feel like, I don't know, that's just the hardest thing that I'm trying to work on. But seeing what it does at this level, more volume, I definitely think should be an indication whether, you should use it as resistance or use it as support at that level. And then someone's saying Tesla. And so Tesla, and we're going to Adara.
Time for the afternoon edition of Money Talks. Usually the morning version of this segment, what I like to do is take a look at usually a daily chart. Today, though, I want to take a look at the weekly chart this afternoon. We are at our highest level this week so far, currently above 103.5. on this DXY. And it's worth noting, actually, I mentioned this in the morning as well, the last 12 of the last 13 days for the DXY have been positive. So there's been lots of strength here. We actually hit a 9-week high earlier this week, though, from what I'm reading here with Reuters. Apparently it was lighter trading for the DXY on the Monday. But again, worth noting this strength here. Next potential area of resistance or support that I'm seeing in this chart could be 104.15 if you look at the weekly. We had a couple touches of resistance here back in May 2023, then again February 2024. Use this area as support in April and May 2024 as well. So could be a bit of an interesting area. Right now we're about 0.65 away from that. So nice move for the DXY because again, just to recap, about 3 weeks ago, we were barely holding on to the 100 levels. So great look here. In terms of economic data on watch, it has been a lighter week. It's going to continue to be a lighter week. Tomorrow morning, though, at 8:30 a.m., lots of excitement. Initial jobless claims, retail sales here on a year-over-year basis and a month-over-month basis on watch. 9:15, we have some capacity utilization and manufacturing numbers. Then at 10 a.m., we're going to be getting business inventories and the NAHB housing market index. We've had some Fed speak recently about the housing market, so that's certainly going to be on watch. Again, every piece of economic data and every piece of Fed speak is going to be pivotal given that larger than expected rate cut we got at the September FOMC meeting. Only 2 meetings left, and we're going to have to wait and see what kind of cuts we get over here, guys.
Thank you for that, Adara. Appreciate that. I'm just going to mention a couple of things before we throw back to Satea. CTCX, oh baby, a new small cap gapper has emerged onto the scene. I'm long right now trying to defend this 80 penny level. If we break 80, that's the end of that, and we'll look to do a little bit better on this. Multiple topping tail candles, all around that dollar. So you feel like it was setting up to break that dollar. 10 exponentials at 75 pennies, volume weighted average price 65. The 20 give or take is at around 70 pennies. I was gunning for this area of what I gauged to be a local area of support at 82 pennies. You had a couple of touches in and around there. So I was, speculating whether or not we hold that area. Let's see if we can weasel up a little bit. I'm looking at wetting my beak at 91. We just pumped up into 88s there. We'll pack our patience with this one. Apple, I did good on this one. I'm happy with this trade here on the dead one Apple. And I'm specifically happy because I got top wick. So I was kind of biased to this lower high situation. So we drew the old fashioned trend line and it told me to get out at 10s. It's exactly what I did. I was in bottom wick and I was out top wick. So I'm happy with this trade. 77s for the in, 10s for the out. Now coming back down into the volume weighted average price, or so I see from my side chart. But this is a whole lot of indecision. I know you were talking about this, Satea. Then you're like, I don't know if this is a long or short at this level. And with you, I could not agree more. You get that nice 8 candle green setup. You come back, you kind of bull flag into VWAP with support, but you get these incrementally lower highs, but not necessarily the lower lows on AAPL. So I don't like the look of this one right now. I'm out of it, and unless it really decides what it wants to be when it grows up, whether it wants to be above 231 and a quarter, shout out to Adara, or dip down below, we'll take it long, we'll take it short, but just decide what you want to do and what you want to be. Back to CTCX over here. Let's see what the situation is. We're still holding generally that 82 penny area. It's not the best, but I like how we're holding this price action, what I gauge to be support. It's a 4 candle hold up, albeit on the 1. There's a seller at 88, and I won't be convinced otherwise. That's 4 times now we've ascended into 88 pennies since we gave up the ghost, and we were met with a wall of selling. So let's see if we're able to take out 88 pennies. I'm waiting on the north side of 90 at 91s. CTCX, here are the details. $18 million market cap or thereabouts. Here comes 88 pennies again, and just observe how this rejects. One sec, yeah. $18 million market cap because it is a kind of a penny stock. It's traded 126 million shares on the day, and the float, kind of astonished by this one, 13.7 million shares, which is not that big for a penny stock. CTCX, let's find out if Trade Ideas can give us a short float. Looks like it's a negligible amount there, about 0.25 of the said float is borrowed for short, so not a whole lot to talk about. There goes 88s. Here come 89s. I'm waiting at 91s. Let me see 90 first before I get excited. There it goes, baby. All right, doing well on this one. A bit of a bigger position. Let's go up into 97s now and wait for a bit of a beak wetter there. We know that there is likely to be a resistance level at the dollar. Likely, not for sure. Here we go, 94s incoming. Okay, so we rejected again at 94s. Can we take it out? That buyer just got taken out. Here we go, 96s, 97s. I'm waiting at 98s. Let's go. All right, maybe we should take it out over here. Nah. You're going to paper hand the trade. Calm down, bro. All right, so I'm just going to wait for 98s, knowing that we, at least we get a wick into a buck. I mean, just get into a dollar and reject it. Happy with this trade so far. We're along at 84s. I don't want any part of this trade to go against me. So, well, not any part, but if it does breach 80, I'm gone. Satea, what are you looking at?
For sure. So I'm looking at DJT, and DJT, it looks pretty interesting. The fact that I have this trend line, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me bring up
DJT.
Let me bring up on TradingView. So what I'm looking at here is I'm seeing strong buying on the tape, but as it approaches like this downwards trend line here that I drew at 30s, the selling keeps coming in, and it's not necessarily bringing it down, but I can see some resistance there. I was looking on bar charts, and I was trying to see what the strike level was, so I could potentially see a place to get involved for going for the long. And so I was trying to see if 30.50 was a strike price. Let me just see here where we currently
Let's
at.
do an ad read real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sorry about that. All right, we gotta do this ad read. E-Signal, guys, if you want to trade smarter, not harder, then upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analysis, strategy, capitalize and foresee those profitable opportunities with a platform that you need. It's got infinite data, instant trading, and you know the best part is you know where the market is moving before others with that lightning fast data and execution. Charts that certainly change a game. You can customize them and analyze the market faster and in your specific way. It's also got better back testing and better scanning. You can predict the future certainly by understanding the past and that reliable real-time data that we all covet. You get up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen or click the link in the description. Sorry to interrupt you, Satya.
Yeah, no worries. So what I was looking at was the strike price, and I was trying to see if there was a strike price at 30.50 for DJT, and it looks like the strike prices are 30, 31, 32, and then 32.50. So I feel like that explains why we're kind of struggling at this that $30 mark. That's what I'm looking at as of right now. It looks like the bears are kind of really trying to push that down as of right now. But I wouldn't want to get involved until the next strike price, which is at 31. So getting above that 30.50. And then I'd want to see what it does from there. But at this $30 level, definitely still pretty confident in my short here. But again, here, there is this balance at 29.75. So I want to see the reaction there. For the continuation of the short, but that is the levels I'm looking at, 29.75 and 30. That is, where I want to see some push and pull, but I'm seeing a lot of push here at that 30. What else are you guys looking at? QNRX. Let's look at that. QNRX. Okay, this is not really me. This is like around $1. Are you busy right now, Sharif?
No.
No? Okay, QNRX.
Absolutely, yeah. That's one we had our eyes on.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Katina Man was involved in that. By the way, Chris, I wasn't making fun of anything Satya was saying. I like to say DJT in my own funny little way.
What, how did I say it? Oh.
It has nothing to do with you. It's just me, all right? No, I'm not saying anything bad. QNRX is the one we're looking at, right? All right, here we go. So it's wow, that's a monster double top at 157. Wowzers. I like it though, Satya. It held the dollar. It held VWAP. In addition, VWAP and the dollar are kind of one in the same level. I like that because I always wax poetic, to use in a dare term, about the trade being different north and south of $1. This is kind of what I mean by that. You come into that dollar after touching 157. Lo and behold, you're finding support. You think that's by accident? I don't think so. Here we go, back into that $1.20. My entry would have been near that VWAP. I think that that's a sound strategy to have. Base it on what it's proven to you in the past to hold up at. And it did hold up at VWAP. It did reject that high 157. So if you're looking to short up there, I'm not going to be shorting north of VWAP, but a lot of mean reversion traders would salivate at an opportunity like this because it gives them a predictable risk to reward. So if I knew 157 was a high of the day on this account, on this little pop over here, I give it to 165. I give it to 169, nice, or whatever, right? In and out that area, it's predictable and didn't even breach 160, but it gave you that dollar. So QNRX, the Katina Man was in the pre-market. As you see, it started out its life at 50 pennies and then was up to $1.57. So it's a fantastic look there. CTCX, bang, we're dropping the money. This one's halted to the upside. We got the fill at the dollar. Love this stock. There it is. This one just breached the dollar. CTCX, we DCA'd into 82 pennies, wet my beak at the dollar, and now it's halted at $1.10. Let's see what this one gives us once it reopens again. Does it hold $1 this time? I just showed you one that did vis-a-vis QNRX. Got to $1.57, came back to $1. It's a bit different going to $1.57 than $1.09 like CTCX is. So let's not, put too much stock into that $1 hold. We'll see. But CTCX looking awfully good right now, Satea, as it's halted up. So this is the look right now. This is what I'm looking at. 215 some odd percent. Very negligible short flow. It just took out yesterday's high, guys. And yeah, this was probably running at 430 because the halt parameters, right? We saw the gap, all the small cap gappers really start hitting at 4 o'clock, 430. That's not by accident, guys. They don't trade aggressively in the pre and in the aftermarket because people are showing up from work or going trading them before work. Well, maybe they are, but I would submit to you that it's more to do with the halt parameters that don't exist. Volatility halt parameters, I should specify, not news pending halt parameters in the pre-market and in the aftermarket. Meaning what? So something can be at 50 pennies and it can run to $20 without halting in the pre-market, in the aftermarket. Whereas if it was trading during regular market hours, it's going to be subject to halt if it ascends or descends more than 10% within 5 minutes. So that's a look there. Halted 109, CTCX. Let's see what this one brings us. Wolf as well, awakening, taking out that double top. Oh, says Fabian, 1650. That was kind of like, let's just say the top, even though realistically, it was that 1640 that was the resistance level. This one's getting its foot undering. It just printed another high day, 1695. It's going to 17, it looks like. Good move for this one. I refuse to trade it because it just wasn't showing me what I like. But this one did something that I call the VWAP hold high of daybreak. When you get that big boy move in the earlier time of the day, and then in the less liquid time of the day, like when we're trading, it kind of does that VWAP hold, consolidates for the most part, but straddles VWAP mostly from the top side, only to break out the high of the day as the more liquid time of the day comes in. We'll see if this one's one of those or it's a wham, bam, back below VWAP kind of situation. So good luck for these small caps today, man. I love these small cap gappers. Keep bringing them. Keep bringing them. What do you got?
For sure. So right now I am looking at DJT and I feel like I've been talking about it and I want to get involved now because I feel like it is getting close to that level that I was looking at. And so just to give you guys a little bit of a visual, I was looking at this 29.76. So I'm getting involved right now. I have my entry here at 29.87. I'm not going to give it anything crazy. I'm going to give it to 30.01s, 30.02s, just because I feel like if it gets up there, then I don't want any involvement there. But I definitely think that, you know, it's a good college try. I'll take a little bit of a college try on that one. Yes, taking some of your lingo there. And so I'm just going to put my stop loss there, 30.01s and then 30.02s. Nothing too crazy, but just want to, you know, give it. It's going up a little bit. What the heck? But whatever. I'm already in, and so I'm just going to give it to my stop there. And then another thing that I was looking at was Apple, because I feel like our long wasn't really working. Do I like the short? Nah, I don't think I want to get involved in that one, so I don't think I will. Someone said, should I give up on AMD today? Let's look at AMD. AMD, I mean, it depends. Like, can you go short? Like, I think that definitely is a possibility. I like it for the short, to be honest. I like that it's below VWAP. I want it to stay below VWAP. I'd probably get involved around 156.29 or around 156. I want to see the break of this 156 though, because, you know, we had that bounce there. Wouldn't necessarily get involved here because I'm not really seeing what I want to see. But if we can get to like 155.99, 155.90, then I definitely get involved there, looking for, you know, a take profit of 155.19 near that day's low. And so that's what I'm looking at on AMD as of right now. Looks pretty weak today. So that is what I'm looking at as of right now. Someone says, AMD, don't ever touch it. I mean, everyone has their different looks. So yeah, definitely bad experience there. But we're going to Adara. She has some good looks for us.
We have about 4 minutes left to vote for your ticker of choice to see which stocks will be covered by Sean and Obi at 2 p.m. So get in the chat, exclamation point, join space. $ in your ticker of choice. One ticker that's been in a lot of people's minds. I just want to do a bit of a recap for in case you missed it. So many moves once again for the third day straight in Bright Minds Biosciences. This one's still down about 20% after making a pretty nasty double top here around this 34.25 area. The reason that this DRUG got moving once again into this level, especially we look at this topping tail candle into 36s, we did have the announcement here or a filing of Joseph Edelman, who is the CEO of Perceptive Life, which is a Perceptive Life Sciences, sorry, it's a healthcare-based hedge fund. Basically, this hedge fund and Joseph Edelman have filed a 13G filing with the SEC, which revealed a 9.6% stake in the company. This is as of October 14th, 2024, when DRUG started moving, and it consists of 430,000 shares. So basically, this most recent move up was in tandem with a 9.6% passive stake being filed here in the company. Now, in terms of other news, we did have this morning, they announced that they had one of their treatments showing similar efficacy to morphine. So this is a pain treatment, similar efficacy to morphine. We also, as well, had an announcement of a collaboration with AIFF or Firefly. So a couple catalysts to be aware if you're for DRUG. It's also interesting. This wick here into high of day comes into where we closed yesterday around 36. So maybe a level to keep an eye on here for DRUG, guys.
I'm sorry, I'm yelling. I'm in CTCX again. Here we go. Shout out to Havana, man. I know you took it with me. You were in the halt. I got out before the halt, but I got in on the dip. Already wet my beak on some profits, looking for a 27 break and take. But it got into 27. There was a seller of note. So we're going to have to pack our patience. Not one penny of this is going to go against me because I'm going to flatten out if it breaks 16. So it's going to have to hold this level. Otherwise, I want zero smoke. Seller at 20. New seller at 20. Let's see if we can take him out. He's re-upping. You can see the additions coming in real time. There we go. Taking him out 23. Shout out to Jordan. We're still printing that. Let's see if we can move up a little bit. Bro, I'm not asking for too much. I'm asking for 27s. Let's go, 27. Waiting, packing my patience over here, 250%. This one is a midday mover, but if it's going to give up 16, I'm going to flatten out. That doesn't mean I can't get back in. And right now, we're getting some selling here, and I don't like it. That's it. I'm flattening out there. We'll look to set up again if it wants to break that level. The halt level, about $1.10. It was lower than $1.10, 108, but we opened up. No, we didn't open up. We opened at 113, wick down, defended $1.10. If it wants to come down into that level again and hold up there, I will add on CTCX. You got to be swift with this one, man. If you want to hold, I don't know if this is the one, right? Because of just how the price action is. 241%, smaller float, not the smallest I've ever seen. Negligible short flow, giving up 15s here. I'm going to be all eyes and ears at this $1.10. If it holds up there, I'm going to get back in. Satya, what are you looking at?
So I was in DJT. I got in around 29.88. Didn't really like what I was seeing, to be honest. I seen a lot of buying on the tape. 160, 140 shares, and so I wasn't really liking that. And so I just punched out. Small loss, nothing crazy, still a little bit up for the day, but I just didn't like that. It was really defending, this, hold on, let me bring it up here. Give me a second. Okay.
Wow, false halt. Oh my God.
So it was defending this level around 29.85. Didn't really like that. I was in the money for like a split second, and I was gonna punch out, but I wanted to see, it fall. Didn't see that. Bounced a little bit. Glad that I got out. I was gonna give it to 30.01s, 30.02s. But I don't know. I just didn't like the price action there. I mean, maybe I'm getting faked out. Maybe I got in a little bit too early. But immediately, if I don't see what I want to see immediately, I'm just going to get out and then, re-enter as of right now. Okay, it is breaking down, tricked me out there a little bit, but it is what it is. I didn't see what I wanted to see, and so that's why I got out. Someone is saying, is NVIDIA trying to get back to 140? What is going on?
What is New York said?
What is going on?
It's a monster, man.
It is a huge monster.
When are we going to learn that this is he has 80% market share?
Yeah.
80%.
Yeah.
Who does he think he is, ASML? You know what I mean? Like, for real, though.
No, seriously, we really need to, we never should doubt NVIDIA, to be honest, because I'm just like, I don't know, with this ASML thing, who knows, but it's not stopping the beast. NVIDIA, it's just, and I feel like anything under 200 for NVIDIA is like definitely a steal. So despite the ASML thing, I definitely think that this is definitely undervalued in the short term, in the long term, and so definitely good look there. Are we going to do?
No,
Oh.
Chilean Nightmare is telling me a story.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then looking back at this DJT, it tricked me out. It is going 29.87s. What the heck? It bounced off of 30.01s. Okay, so it probably would have triggered me out. Maybe I should have given it a little bit more room, a definitive place where it probably wouldn't have gone. Probably 30.20s, 30.24 would have been a better room. And then we're going to Adara.
Be aware of RTX here. This name currently around that previous multiple support and resistance area here so far today, around that 125.40s. We do have court records here revealing that RTX is set to resolve its U.S. foreign bribery case under a deferred prosecution agreement. So with that in mind, it will be paying $574.7 million in order to settle this case, which had to do with fraud and pricing. It had to do with procurement, fraud, and pricing investigations. So settling these this case with regards to its procurement, fraud, and pricing allegations for $574.7 million. We know that the defense space has been on watch with regards to what's happening in the Middle East, and RTX actually reporting alongside LMT earnings next week, guys.
Middle East.
Thank you.
Of course, obviously. Hey, man, you can make your own jokes, right? This is the, so it looks as if they bribed some Qatari officials to get around some U.S. arms control regulations. Not a good look there. We know that they are now kind of pursuing that same thing, not with arms, but with AI chips, obviously seeing that as the future. It's going to be like, I mean, that's what Palantir is all about, right? Like that AI side to military.
Yeah.
And like, let's just call a spade a spade. It's going to get, if it's going to be in regular everyday life, it's going to be in the military and probably even a bit more advanced than what we've got over here.
100%. Do you have a close eye on Palantir right now? Or?
I don't. The Katina man's involved. So, you know, just by virtue of people in the office being involved, and a lot of people are involved in Palantir, you always hear, and we're reporting on it all the time as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to expand. Hey, the Chilean Nightmare's got Palantir. He knows
He does.
what's up.
He's grabbing his bags.
Yeah, he knows the world's become a belligerent place. So there's usually, when there's belligerencies, there is a need for companies like this, sadly. But that's just the way life works. We're not going to go into a dissertation over that at the moment. Hey, my man's sprinting over there. He's in a good mood. I like it. CTCX, guys, has found a bit of a buyer. Oh, wow. Just about to say at 105, it gave up the ghost, dipping below $1, but right back above $1. What do we do here? Do we punch long? What's the situation? Havana, how are you trading this, my man? Because this bad boy false halted. I thought it was going to halt at $1.05, and then it false halted and then dipped back up, back down. Seems to have a seller, Havana, at around 15, or whoever's trading this. If you guys are trading this, I'd love to hear your opinion too. How are you guys looking at this? Are you getting in at the dollar over here? Maybe giving it to 90 pennies? What's the situation? Let me know. Tag me in the chat. Wolf is still on the move. Shout out to User. Love that name. User letting us know that Wolf, W-O-L-F, on the move today. It was a bit of a dead one during the midday, but it got its footing under it as of late. The reason I haven't flipped to it right now, I'm still staring at CTCX as it gives up the dollar again, but right back into the dollar. I'm going to have to let this one decide what it wants to do. I'm not going to try to guess here. Wolf is strong, says User. Yes. Let's have a look at Wolf, because you're not wrong at all there. Here it is, just printed the high of the day, 16.95. But look, we've got about a 4 or 5 candle holdup south of 17. Not surprised by that, really. You know, we typically use these whole dollar levels as support and resistance. Don't tell that to 16, though, because it chopped and churned through 16 to no end. But here, it does look like it is using it as resistance. What I'd say to you, Wolf, is the money fill for me would be that 1650, 1640 if it wants to come retest it. However, if it doesn't, I'm possibly looking at 1660 to, well, currently 1660 because that's where the 10 exponential is hanging out. I don't know. You could also try to get in the bottom end of this range. We have about a 25 penny range with 1670 being the low end and 1695 obviously being the high end. You could try doing it that way as well with a tighter stop, maybe sell to 1660. It's really up to you. I didn't have any trades on this today. I didn't feel that I had a good read on it. So I really don't have much to tell you in the way other than what I just said. So let me know how it goes. Looks as if, though, that CTCX holding above $1 or for now, I don't know, man. This is zigging and zagging too much. What do you got, Satya? We got 4 minutes left. I'm not jumping into this, man. No way.
For sure. I'm still looking at this DJT. I'm seeing a lot of ones on the tape. And when I see a lot of those ones, that screams algo. That seems like they're trying to bait me in for the long. As of right now, I'm still looking for that short, to be honest. I still think that that $30 level is a good place to risk off of. Don't necessarily want to give it more than that, because if it goes above that, I definitely think that we can blast off to the upside and the bulls, will win in this case. But I'm still trying to decide, what it wants to do from here. I don't necessarily like how it's bouncing off of the level. Hold on, let me get here. I don't like the fact that it's bouncing off of this level, 29.78, but I also like the fact that lower highs are getting in place and we're going to the downside. But what I don't like is that there's no volume to really follow this through. And so they're really defending that level. And so I could see the short, but that volume is where I really thrive. And so that's why I'm not really very keen on jumping in as of right now for DJT. Someone is saying Q's overview. Let's look at the Q's. Q. As of right now, I want to see a break above this 491 level. Definitely seeing this range between 491.74, which is around, was that pre-market high? No, okay. The pre-market high was 492.14. And then this low here was 487.61. We do see a little bit of an uptrend here, but I'm not seeing that volume as of right now. Really want to see if I am going for the break of this 491, but not necessarily something that I really want to see as of right now. Bring on the Mag 7 traders. One thing we haven't touched upon randomly is Meta. Meta. Someone's clapping over there. Adara, yeah. I mean, it's not really doing much as of right now. I could see why we're not really looking at it today. The highs today were around 583.62, banged down, stayed below VWAP, and then we're just kind of, we're just staying below VWAP. Don't necessarily think that it's a trade on Meta today. I think that's why we didn't really talk about it. It's just a no trade day for that one. Any looks for you before we leave? Yeah,
I'm keeping an eye on CTCX. I'm not going to be trading this while I'm at the green screen, but it held the dollar quite well. It did dip into 95, albeit very briefly. There was some support at 95, not that I earmarked that area for any dip trade or anything like that. This one's going to have to get going above $1.25 on a closing basis for me to stay interested. You can try to dip trade it, scalp it off that dollar, but if it doesn't end up going and it continues to make these lower highs, then I want no smoke with this one. It's up 200%, respectable amount, obviously, but I've been talking about this the entire show. There is a different trade north and south of $1. It's going to have to hold that dollar right now for me to stay interested in this trade. It's a good look, man. It comes right into these two key areas of previous resistance, former support around 95, 96 pennies, and it holds up. But, it can give that up quite easily. Wolf is still continuing to kind of consolidate at south of 17. OKLO, we were trading this one to no end, still unable to breach that 1675, so that same level that we left you with. In fact, we've been putting in lower lows and lower highs, but again, the other side of that coin is we're still $1.25 above the volume weighted average price. So I hope everybody had a fantastic time trading these small cap gappers on the show today. It is now 2 o'clock. Time for you and I to get going. It's going to be you on Friday. Yeah. Joe tomorrow. Yes. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channels. Get them, big kahunas.
We're back. Thank you, Reef and Satya. What a good, interesting midday show. I mean, that midday show, again, you have to watch out for those runners. We just talked about that QNRX today moving around, drug moving around.